Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok.
Welcome along everybody to live commentary of this FIFA Club World Cup round of 16 clash between Manchester City and Al Hilal. We are live from the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida, as a place in the quarterfinals is up for grabs for these two sides. What should be a really, really interesting contest. Manchester City, 3 wins from 3 in this Club World Cup so far, topping the group. Had a quick review of Al Ain and Wydad Casablanca. Al Hilal, meanwhile, navigated the potentially tricky Group H, finishing second. Group H containing Real Madrid, RB Salzburg and Pachuca of Mexico to reach the last 16 stage. Both sets of players out on the pitch as we approach kickoff, not too far away now, and we will run you through some team news ahead of kickoff. Starting with Manchester City, it is 3 changes for Pep Guardiola as Manuel Akanji, Rodri and Omar Marmoush drop to the bench. Team in full is as follows: Ederson in goal, Mateus Nunes, Ruben Dias, Joško Vardiol and Ryan Aït-Nouri at the back. In the middle of the park then, it is Tijani Reinders alongside Ilkay Gundogan and skipper Bernardo Silva, and then a front 3 of Savinho, Jeremy Doku and then Erling Haaland leads the line. For Al Hilal, it's 2 changes for them. First one at the back, Hassan Al-Tambahti is injured, so he drops out, as does star man Salem Al-Dessari, going to miss the entire tournament. Big loss for them with a hamstring injury. Their team in full is as follows: Yassine Bono in goal, a back 4 then of former Manchester City footballer Joao Cancelo. Kalidou Koulibaly is alongside Motel Al-Harbi, who comes in, and then Renan Lodi is left back. Across the middle then, we have Ruben Neves, and he's partnered by Nasser Al-Dessari. Mohamed Kano captains the side in Salem Al-Dessari's absence. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and Malcolm then are behind Marcus Leonardo, who got off the mark against RB Salzburg last time out. So we are almost ready to go ahead of kickoff here in Orlando. Winners of this game will play Fluminense in the quarterfinal. The Brazilian side knocking out Inzaghi's former employers Inter earlier this evening. 2-0 victory against the Italians. So, who will join them? Game in Orlando on 4th of July, Independence Day for America this Saturday. Our referee this evening is Jesus Valenzuela from Venezuela. As we approach kickoff, Manchester City in their change strip of white with a black and red diagonal stripe, black shorts and white socks. Al Hilal in their traditional all blue strip. So once again, it is Pep Guardiola against Simone Inzaghi, the Italian yet to taste victory against his counterpart. Is it that Champions League final? Pep Guardiola came out on the winning side 1-0 3 years ago now. And then they met each other in the Champions League phase earlier this season, a 0-0 draw. So will it be third time lucky for Inzaghi, or will Guardiola get the better of him once again? It will be Manchester City to kick us off here, shooting from left to right in Orlando, where we are approaching 9 p.m. local time. And we are off. First touch of the game for Edison in between the sticks. Confirmed he will be staying at the club this season. He launches it as far as Haaland, tries to get the flick on, does as far as Savinho, gets it back. Haaland just holding it up. Savinho back into the field with the Norwegian. Can't quite find the pass. Al Hilal look to turn it over, but they've lost again. It's Haaland. Lays it to Savinho. Could be an early chance. Can't quite get the pass off. Milinkovic-Savic has a tackle in there, and the Serbian has won his side a free kick. But City dangerous inside the first 30 seconds. Al Hilal just carelessly giving the ball away deep in their own half. But they do manage to get away with it. Savinho at the heart of it scored that wonderful goal against Juventus last time out. Koulibaly sends it long up towards Malcolm. He backs into Gvardiol, who does well to just play it back to Ederson. Gianni Reinders now deepest of that midfield three, comes deep to receive it. Out to his right hand side here is Ruben Dias. Back to Reinders, signed obviously for AC Milan before the start of this tournament. 55 million euros, a wonderful footballer, and should he make a big impact to this City side, who with an issue in midfield as Jeremy Doku hits the deck. Just Kalidou Koulibaly a bit over eager in that challenge and concedes the foul inside the Al Hilal half out on the left hand side, taken quickly by Manchester City. Gvardiol out to Matej Nunes on this near side, and Diaz. Al Hilal have everyone behind the ball at the moment. Silva pressed by Cano. Man City retain possession. They go out to the far side. Doku now with a chance to run at Cancelo if he wants to. So shifts it inside. Gvardiol, Nunes. Man City suffocating Al Hilal at the moment. Savinho now has a chance maybe on this left. Goes back in field. Gets it back from Reinders. Now Silva picks it up. Just forced backwards slightly there by Nasser Al-Dossari. Ruben Dias on the ball again. Silva on this right hand side, cuts in on his left foot, cross comes into the box, takes a deflection, and that's an easy take for Yacine Bono. I think it was Teb Al Harbi in the way of that one there. And once again, Al Hilal goes short. Koulibaly back to Bono. They're under real pressure, trying to work it out. Al-Dossari on this left hand side goes down the line, looking for Malcolm, but can't quite find him. Man City win it back again. Looks like Al Hilal are starting with a back five. Nasser Al-Dossari playing left wing back role with Cano and Neves in the middle. Milinkovic-Savic, Malcolm in behind Leonardo. City still in possession. Doku now. Another chance to run at Joao Cancelo. Malcolm there, support. Lovely little slip in behind, looking for Ait Nouri, who'd gotten forward from left back, the Algerian, but Doku just unable to find him. But 3.5 minutes in, Man City looking for that early opener. As Pep Guardiola takes a seat next to Pep Linders, obviously the Jurgen Klopp's former assistant at Liverpool, now part of the Manchester City coaching staff. Bono went long with that goal kick, searching for Marcus Leonardo, leading the line for Al Hilal today. Leonardo, 22-year-old Brazilian, really good record in the Saudi Pro League. Only joined last year's 17 goals in 24 games. Scored against Pachuca last time out. Now Ruben Neves carries it forward for Al Hilal. He's just muscled out of it by his international teammate Bernardo Silva. City tried to play out. Doku picks it up now. Savinho ahead. Can he release the pass? He can't. Savinho gets it away to Haaland. He's taken out by Koulibaly. Referee plays advantage. Here's Gundogan on the outside. Ait Nouri makes a run on the overlap. Gundogan instead comes back in field to Gianni Reinders. Now it finds its way to Ait Nouri. Others just slowed down. Doku back on his feet. Switched out to this right-hand side. Nunes. Savinho now. Little dink into the middle of the park. Cano gets his head to it, falls for Nunes again, and he wins a corner for his side. Referee Jesus Valenzuela just wants a word with Kalidou Koulibaly. It's Mohamed Cano that he's talking to. Oh, wearing the captain's armband, it was Koulibaly. Seemed to make the foul. Will be a corner kick from this near side. Bernardo Silva to take. 5 minutes gone here. Left-footed in swing to come from the Manchester City captain. Haaland waits, as does Guardiola. Silva delivers into the box. Keeper comes, punches it, not that far. Doku can pick it up at the back post, just forced wide by Joao Cancelo, trying to get across in. Doku delivers into the middle. Header on goal from Diaz, straight at Bono. First big chance of the game falls to Ruben Diaz. It's on target. And perhaps the Portuguese man should do better. Brilliant play by Doku. Just dropped the shoulder that kept beyond Cancelo. Delivers a left-footed cross into the box, and it's a free header for Ruben Diaz, but it's straight at the Moroccan. Again, City looking for that early opener as they dominate this opening period. Doku again wants to run at Cancelo. Malcolm tracking back to help out his fullback. Nuri now. Reinders shifts it on to Diaz. Every Manchester City outfielder inside the Al Hilal half. Savinho to take on Al Harbi. Recycle back infield once more. Vardiol. Doku looking lively. Jeremy Doku goes on the outside of Cancelo, tries to get a cross in. It's blocked this time, but another corner. And Joao Cancelo really up against it with Jeremy Doku, who appears to be in one of those moods. So we see it again. It's a really good chance for Ruben Diaz. Should do better, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. Corner kick from the far side. Ready to be delivered towards the near post, headed away by Cano. Malcolm looking to pick it up, and Malcolm gets away from Reinders, who hauls him down. Al Hilal want the yellow card. I think Jesus Valenzuela is going to keep them in his pocket for the moment. Just a bit of a lunge from the Dutchman, but he gets away with it for the moment, as Malcolm was looking to surge forward for Al Hilal. Again, they start from the back. Koulibaly on his own end line. Now he'll play it forward, looking for Malcolm. He's found a lovely touch inside from Milinkovic-Savic, trying to break through from the middle of the park. Held up initially, still on the ball. And now we'll switch it to this left-hand side. Lovely ball to find Al Harbi. Al Harbi, ball into the box. Lovely first touch from Leonardo. Can he get a strike away? Lays it off instead. Strike comes in. It's deflected. It was Nasser Al-Dossari, I think, who gets his shot away. Well worked there by Al Hilal. Just unable to get a real strike, and it was a lovely ball into Leonardo, who laid it off for Al-Dossari. His effort just comes off Vardiol, and it's an easy take for Edison. But first, warning side from the Saudis. Silva on this near side. Infield to Nunes, who's making it narrow. Reinders shifts it out to the left hand side. Out Nuri, look for a little ball in behind for Doku, but instead he's gone to his outside. Here is Jeremy Doku, trying to make something happen here. Instead goes back infield to Nuri. Now the ball comes over. Nuri could be through on goal. Nuri, ball comes across and it's in the back of the net. Bernardo Silva puts Manchester City ahead. 9 minutes played in Orlando, and Manchester City lead against Al Hilal. It's the City captain putting Pep Guardiola's side ahead. Al Hilal complaining. Think they want a handball. As we see it again. worked on this left-hand side. Aït-Nouri and Reinders involved. Brilliant play to release Aït-Nouri in on the left-hand side. Comes across, initially cleared by Renan Lodi. Comes off Ilkay Gundogan, falls for Silva, who just taps it into the empty net. And there could be a suspicion of handball here. As Reinders plays the ball to Aït-Nouri, it does look like it comes off his right forearm. So this may come back, but Bernardo Silva, right place, right time to put that away for Man City. Be interesting to see if this does stand, though. Al Hilal players and fans alike wanting this to go to VAR. And Jesus Valenzuela has a decision to make here. In fact, it looks as though the goal has been given. Inzaghi and the bench, Al Hilal bench, are furious. They've just seen a replay of the goal on the big screen in the stadium. But the referee doesn't look as though he's going to go to VAR. The Al Hilal players are surrounding him, the Venezuelan match official. Again, it looked on the replay as though Reinders' ball just hit the forearm of Aït-Nouri as he went inside. The game hasn't restarted. Bono, Koulibaly all speaking to the referee. It was replayed on the big screen in the stadium. And it looks as though the Al Hilal players are furious here as Pep Guardiola looks on. They can't believe that the referee isn't even going to have a look at this one. So controversy early on in this game. But referee seems to be happy to continue without a check here, unless he's gotten word from the VAR that it's okay. Inzaghi having a word with the fourth official himself there. City players look relatively confused. They want to just continue the game. No sign of a VAR check yet. Al Hilal players are beside themselves. Our referee now is waiting for word from upstairs, it looks like. He's explaining to the Al Hilal players his decision, and the goal stands. So real confusion here in Orlando, but Manchester City do take the lead. It is 1-0 to the English side. Al Hilal looking for an immediate response. Ball over the top for Leonardo. Well cut out there by Ederson, who's quick off his line. But they've given it away, and here come Al Hilal down the left-hand side. Al Harbi trying to get in behind, but unable to control that. Tries to win a corner, but it's out over the end line for a goal kick. So Bernardo Silva with the goal. As we see it again. Lovely interlinking play between Aït-Nouri and Reinders. Algerian ball across, comes off Ilkay Gundogan, and then Silva just taps home into the empty net, but not without its share of controversy. Like I said, the ball looked as though it might have hit the arm of Aït-Nouri as it came in, but we will play on as Haaland out to this right-hand side. Mateus Nunes. To the left-hand side, here's Doku. We can take on Cancelo again. Jeremy Doku. Just turned it over though. And away come Al Hilal. They've lost possession themselves though. They've won a free kick. Malcolm again, the man to do it. going again on this left-hand side. Ball too far for Al Harbi, who is playing a more left wing-back role for the Saudi side. Bit of indecision at the back from Manchester City, nearly turning it over, but eventually Ederson secures it. Gundogan can take it forward for City. Into the left-hand side. Ryan out Nuri. Looking for Jeremy Doku. Pass isn't quite on, so just goes out to the far side. And City just retaining possession once more. Doku. All about taking his man on, but instead he'll just come back in field. Nunez out to the right hand side. Savinho now. He wants to take on his man. Nunez, little ball in behind, finds Savinho, tries to cut back inside on his left foot. It's good defending there from Renan Lodi, but he's got himself caught and he's given away the ball again. Savinho, nice little footwork to get away from his man. Can he get a cross in? Instead he comes back in field. Vardiol. Aït-Nouri now. Doku. Shimmy to try confuse Malcolm, but he's come back in field. Reinders. Diaz. Back to Tijani Reinders. Diaz once more. Man City just holding on to the ball. Savinho, now he plays a pass forward. Lovely little flick. Nunez, can he get a strike away? Koulibaly just gets a block in on time, and Milinkovic-Savic brought down by Aït-Nouri. Lovely, lovely football from Manchester City. Ball around the corner, this time from Nunez, and a lovely flick there from Gundogan. Unable to get the strike away. Milinkovic-Savic does well then to win a free kick for his side. Kalidou Koulibaly goes long, and Al Hilal are in behind. Flag stays down. Marcus Leonardo cuts back in, but then just delayed on it too much, did the Brazilian, as he looked to get that strike away. Suspicions of the offside flag did stay down as Koulibaly just went long. He got in behind, and now City try to get in behind themselves. Up towards Haaland. Controlled. Al Hilal want a handball. Instead, referee waves play on. Doku tries to make something happen. Milinkovic-Savic does well to cover and win it back for his side. No real options ahead of him, so he goes back to Cancelo. Cancelo now tries to spin away from pressure. Milinkovic-Savic into the feet of Malcolm. Back towards Milinkovic-Savic, put out that time by Aït-Nouri, and it's a throw in over the far side. Bono inside his own box will go long towards Leonardo. Tries to chest it to Milinkovic-Savic, doesn't quite work out. And now City win it back. Ball up towards Haaland, well cut out there by Renan Lodi, who's stepping forward out of defence, just tripped in the middle of the park by Bernardo Silva. And referee wants a word with the City captain. No card, just a warning. Bernardo Silva's goal separates the two sides at the moment. Just pick of the action there. He's Portuguese man. Al Hilal forward. Milinkovic-Savic searching for Al-Dasari. Headed away, and City on the ball again as they try to release Doku down the left-hand side. It's not the best of passes from Bernardo Silva. And it's out for a throw. 20 minutes gone. Renan Lodi into this left-hand side for Al Harbi. Goes all the way back to Bono. Koulibaly. Defeated Ruben Neves. Hasn't really had a chance to impact the game, but that's a Good pass as far as Milinkovic-Savic out to his right hand side. Malcolm now cuts back in on his left foot. Infield to Mohamed Kano. Out to this left hand side. Lodi has gotten forward. Kano once more in the middle of the pitch. Wants to switch it out to the right hand side. Cancelo's in space. Can he get a cross in? Joao Cancelo. Ball into the middle. It's too long for Leonardo. Milinkovic-Savic was in there as well, and it's just out for a throw in. Best ball from the former Man City defender, with options in the middle. Return over possession. Al Hilal do well though to win it back inside Man City's half. Cano out to Neves. Ruben Neves now wants to play in Lodi over the top. Well read that time by Nunes, who gets his head to it. Now Bernardo Silva back to Mateus Nunes. Up the line as far as Savinho. He's under pressure from Cano, and it's a free kick that Al Hilal captain just committing a foul on that Brazilian winger there. As I said, Mohamed Kano into the side, place of Salem Al-Dasari, missing for this tournament after hamstring injury last time out, but he did score. Kano, though very experienced himself, 30-year-old, maybe 200 appearances for Al Hilal. 64 caps for Saudi Arabia. It's excellent in that shock result in the World Cup against Argentina the last time out. But here comes City again. Savinho on this near side. Faces up his man. Goes back as far as Nunes. Infield to Ruben Diaz. Now Guardiola. Back out to this right hand side. Savinho's in space. Thought about the cross. Instead plays a little ball into the channel for Gundogan. Back to Nunes. Now Savinho. Edge of the box. Looks to whip one, but he gets underneath that completely, and it's out for a goal kick. Once again, City playing some lovely football. Savinho just unable to whip that into the corner. Brazilian winger obviously enjoyed a mixed debut season at the head he had last year. After his move from Girona. Al Hilal go long with that kick out. Malcolm gets beaten to the ball by Ait Nuri. Excellent signing for Wolves. Obviously, Man City coming off the back of a terribly disappointing season for them. Finished third. First trophyless season since 2016-17. Beaten in the FA Cup final again. But they've looked to correct that. 130 million spent just before this Club World Cup, and Reinders, Aituri, Ryan Shirky as well, who's on the bench today. So they are not messing around as they bid to get back to the top of English football once more. But now they're on their way to the Club World Cup quarter-final as things stand. Plenty of football to go, but they're on the attack again. Aituri, Doku, taking on Cancelo again, shifts it onto his right foot. Doku gets a strike away, and Haaland was lurking, but it's just wide. Lovely play there. Jeremy Doku again, looking so lively in this opening 25 minutes or so. Takes on Cancelo, can go inside or outside. This time comes inside onto his right foot, has an effort as he tries to curl that in toward the bottom corner. He's always going wide. Haaland was lurking. Couldn't get on the end of it, and it remains 1-0. City looking dangerous as they try to build on their lead. Cancelo was giving it away inside his own half. Haaland at the edge of the box. Lovely little slip in. Savinho tries to ground Bono. It's a brilliant save. Danger still not clear. Into the middle from Savinho again. Reinders can't control it. Cancelo tries to get it away. Here's Malcolm. Al Hilal survived that time, but huge opportunity. It's brilliant from Yassine Bono. What Joao Cancelo was doing, I'm not too sure. Tries to take on two City players at the edge of his own area. Gets dispossessed. Ball into the feet of Savinho, who'd originally gone around Bono, was forced slightly wide, and as he tried to get the strike away, the goalkeeper puts a big arm out and saves. Really good goalkeeping. But now Al Hilal come forward. Malcolm on the right-hand side, cuts in field, has Milinkovic-Savic on his overlap. Here is the serve, ball into the box towards Leonardo. Diaz clears for City. Trying to win the second ball, Al Hilal. It's Milinkovic-Savic again. He's put in, Cancelo in behind, low cross into the box. Diaz once more meets it. Milinkovic-Savic just lets it run for Cano, and here is the serve. Ball in towards box, headed away this time by Guardiola. City have turned it over again. But end-to-end stuff here in Orlando as City just tried to slow it down a bit with Silva. Savinho in space on his right if he wants him as he crosses into the Al Hilal half. Nunez, now here is Savinho. Pass infield as Tijani Reinders. Diaz stepping forward into the Saudis' half. Ait-Nouri out to Doku. Won't take his man on this time. He'll go back to Ait-Nouri. Now Gvardiol. Diaz, 40 yards from the Al Hilal goal. Savinho on this right-hand side looks to take on Al Harbi. Instead goes infield to Nunez. Return passes off the mark. Milinkovic-Savic intercepted, and he's just clipped by Ilkay Gundogan at the edge of his own box. So it will be an Al Hilal free kick. Milinkovic-Savic making his 100th appearance for the Saudi club this afternoon. So we see that goal again. Haaland with the lovely little slip pass to Savinho, but Brazilian winger unable to put it away. Does well. First touch takes him around Bono, but it's a brilliant piece of goalkeeping. A big outstretched right arm from Bono to save it. He saved that penalty against Real Madrid in the group stage to earn his side a point. Yassine Bono saving from Fede Valverde. Was instrumental, of course, in Morocco's road to the World Cup semi-final as Marcus Leonardo tried to spin his man on the halfway line. Gets fouled, and it is the first yellow card of the game. Josko Gvardiol just gets caught on the wrong side of Marcus Leonardo there. It's good centre-forward play from the Brazilian. That's Benfica, man. Just saw where Gvardiol was as the ball came in, used his body to spin and just taken down. So first yellow card of the game after 27 minutes goes to the Man City centre half. As you see, Milinkovic-Savic alongside Malcolm, making his 100th appearance for Al Hilal today. Ruben Neves is playing a much deeper role, nearly one of the back three as former Wolves player over this free kick on the halfway line. Man City have everyone back in their own half. Neves will hang this towards the back post, looking for Milinkovic-Savic. Can he get there? He can keep it in play. He fires it across, and had it, in fact, it had gone out over the end line. City defender just seemed to stand still. Neves just floating one over for Milinkovic-Savic. Ball went over the end line. Inzaghi shouts instructions. Obviously, Simone Inzaghi, he joined on the 4th of June, 2-year contract for the Italian. See that Champions League final defeat to PSG in charge of his Inter side, humiliating end to what was a brilliant spell at the Italian club. 2 Champions League finals, 2 Serie A titles, 4 seasons. But he put them as far as he could. Here comes City though. Savinho, lovely little ball in behind. Gundogan, brilliant save again from Bono. It's wonderful football from City in tight spaces. Gundogan to Savinho, another little slip pass to put the German in behind. Bono comes out. Gundogan just tries to lift it over him, but it's another big, strong right hand from Yassine Bono, and he is keeping his side in the game as we speak. Corner kick for City, delivered into the box. Header on goal, it's another save from Bono, this time denying Haaland. Tipped over the bar. Floated in by Bernardo Silva. It's Guardiola, in fact, who beats Haaland to it in the 6-yard box, gets his head to it. Bono tips it over the crossbar. 2 saves in quick succession. for the Moroccan. Another corner. Silva delivers. This one towards the back post. Koulibaly gets his head on it. Sent back in to the box, but Renan Lodi will pick it up. Now the break could be on as he finds Malcolm ball across. Though looking for Leonardo, doesn't quite come off. Malcolm tried to play it first time. In fact, he's probably better off taking a touch. City were stretched for a moment, but Hilal unable to take advantage. City on the ball again. Guardiola inside the centre circle. To his centre back partner, Ruben Diaz. Gundogan now. Diaz once more. Savinho outside him. Here is Savinho. Tries to play Reinders in behind. It's well read though by Al Harby, and he'll just play it down the channel for Leonardo to chase. He's gotten the wrong side of Tijani. Reinders well played initially there, but Reinders does well to get back. Looked like Leonardo had gotten the wrong side of Reinders, but just uses his body well on the second attempt to get the right side and win it back. Speaks to his versatility as a midfielder. Played the deepest of those in free in place of Rodri, obviously, or can be further up the pitch as more box to box. But City come forward again. Doku looked to have Cancelo isolated for a moment, but Malcolm again doing his defensive work. Back to Ryan Nuri. Now here is Tijani Reinders once more. Ruben Diaz. Gundogan wants it to feed. Instead he goes back to Aitnuri, who's made it a bit narrow. Doku stayed wide, wants the ball. Al Hilal cut the pass out. Koulibaly reads that really well. Intercepts and steps out in defence. Has support on his left-hand side here with Al Dasari. Koulibaly has stayed forward. Al Dasari needs support, which goes back as far as Cancelo and now Milinkovic-Savic as Al Hilal just maintained the ball. Ruben Neves out to this left-hand side. Renan Lodi. Al Harbi now. Loose first touch. Tries to play it in to Al Dasari, but he's won a throw in for his side. As after half an hour, we will have a cooling break for the players. Chance for them to get some much needed fluids on board, obviously. Very hot in Florida at the moment, so we will have a cooling break in each half. Chance for Guardiola and Inzaghi to get their message across. Still 1-0 at the cooling break. If you're just joining, Bernardo Silva's opener inside 10 minutes, the difference between the side. A lot of controversy over it though. In the build-up, it appeared to come off the arm of Ryan Aitnuri, and we're not happy with it at all. But didn't even go to a VAR checkout. Venezuelan referee Jesus Valenzuela sure of his decision. Yassine Bono has made some absolutely brilliant saves. 3 big opportunities. Savinho, Gundogan and Guardiola. It just hasn't really been tested as of yet by Al Hilal. But they do look as though they pose a bit of a threat on the counter. Malcolm, Marcus Leonardo, Milinkovic-Savic. As we see the goal again, it's brilliantly worked. Aitnuri exchanging passes with Reinders. It's on the second pass from Reinders. It was a little dink to set Aitnuri in behind that looked like it came off his right forearm. His cross into the box was met by Cano. Tried to clear, only came off Gundogan and then rebounded just 6 yards out for Bernardo Silva to tap home. So that is the difference in the game so far. As we see Guardiola give some instructions to Jeremy Doku, who's been really lively, giving former City man Joao Cancelo a real tough evening. So far, obviously, Cancelo was instrumental for City in that treble-winning season, 23-24. But said 22, 23 in fact. Obviously himself and Pep Guardiola did fall out rather publicly. Went to Barcelona, had a long spell at Bayern, and now Al Hilal in Saudi. Their last August 3-year contract for the 31-year-old. So we are back and have restarted playing. It's Al Hilal in possession. Kalidou Koulibaly to Neves. Out to this left-hand side. Al Harbi, first-time ball, looking for Al Dasari. Can he get away from Diaz? He can't quite. And Man City defender clears his lines. Good defending there from Diaz. Al Hilal missing the other Al Dasari, of course. Salem, their talisman, captain, has made 300 appearances for the side. His hometown team. Hamstring injury has ruled him out of the whole tournament, in fact. Salem Al Dasari. Nothing to do without their star man. Saudi Arabia captain as well. Man City now on the ball in the halfway line. Guardiola, Ryan out Nuri, out to Doku. When you take on Cancelo again, once more Malcolm tracks back to help out. Just recycle back infield out Nuri. Now Doku once more. Joao Cancelo doubling up on the winger. He's gone on the outside. Does get his cross in. Neves away. Only as far as Reinders. Back to Ait Nuri. Man City looking for another. Reinders ball into the box. Bono reads that the whole way. Plucks it out of the sky. Nunez had gotten forward from right back. Spectacular ball from Reinders to find him. Bono goes long. Milenkovic Savic looking for the flick on. It's well won in the air now. Al Hilal a bit stretches. City come forward. Tijani Reinders now. Nunez forward from right back. Savinho outside him. Here is Savinho. Wants to take on Al Dasari. Goes on his outside. Right foot across. Doku meets it in the middle. But it's straight at Bono. Good play again from City. Savinho down the right hand side. Gets his cross away. But Doku first time effort. Couldn't generate enough power to really test Bono in the Al Hilal goal. Ruben Neves now, edge of his own box, carries it forward. Used to play it to Lodi. Last touch comes off a Man City player. So it will be a throw in for Al Hilal. Renan Lodi searching for a teammate, goes infield to Al Dasari. The feet of Bono. Pass into the middle field as Al Hilal look to play out, and it's another yellow card coming here. This time for Mateus Nunes. As Al Harbi goes down, and it was well played initially. Bono plays it into the middle of the park to Al Dasari, out to the left to Al Harbi. As he looked to cut in field, Nunes just catches him. So it is a foul. It's the yellow card, second yellow, so that's two at the back four for City. Mateus Nunes and Josko Gvardiol into the referee's book. Be wary of that as Koulibaly, just under a bit of pressure, hikes it down the line for Malcolm, but can't quite find him there. And Reinders on the ball once more for City. Ruben Diaz now. Field as far as Nunes. Reinders once more. Shifted on to Ait Nuri. Doku, space on the left-hand side, looks to take on Cancelo. Malcolm there in support, comes back in field. Reinders again. Ruben Diaz now, 30 yards from goal. Dink cross towards the back post, looking for Doku. Cancelo gets his head to it, but Doku will pick up the second ball. He's away from Malcolm. Doku tries to get beyond Cancelo. This time, the Portuguese fullback wins the battle, intercepts it, and he's won a goal kick playing an off a Man City player. So, first battle Cancelo was won against Doku, 40 minutes gone. Just stands his ground, doesn't fall for the step overs. It's good defending from Cancelo. That'll give him confidence up against Jeremy Doku, who was really lively early on. Goal kick for Al Hilal. Bit of a downfield, looking for Milinkovic-Savic. Lovely chested layoff as far as Malcolm. Field to Cano. Cancelo back to Neves. Renan Lodi. Al-Dassari makes a move ahead of him. He's found him. Nice first touch from Nasser Al-Dassari. Back in field to Cano. And now Lodi. Milinkovic-Savic comes short for it, but he goes back as far as Ruben Neves. They've numbers on the right-hand side. If Neves can pick them out, he can. It's Joao Cancelo just forced back into his own half. I'll just maintain the ball for a bit. Renan Lodi. Out to Al Harbi on this near side. Back to Lodi. Al Hilal look for a way through City. Al-Dassari just goes back to Neves. And here's Kalidou Koulibaly. Nice pass to pick out Malcolm into Cancelo. Nice football from Milinkovic-Savic. Tries to get Malcolm away. Nearly gets beyond Ait-Nouri, but City have turned it over. Doku now. Gundogan. Here's Savinho. No real options to his right, so he comes back infield to Nunez and Diaz and Vardiol. Ait-Nouri infield to Jeremy Doku. City just trying to draw Al Hilal out with their defensive shape. Savinho had to take on Al Harbi. Now it's Vardiol. Ryan Ait-Nouri. Cancelo goes to meet him. Doku there in support if he needs him. Malcolm there too. Doku back infield to Vardiol. Al Hilal just camped outside their own box for the moment as they look to sustain this bit of pressure. 3 minutes to go plus injury time till the break. Loose pass there from Vardiol. Ait-Nouri does well to keep it in play. Doku now has a bit of space, eventually just overruns it, and Al Hilal have won it back with Cancelo. Here's Malcolm. Avenue forward close, so he just goes back. Cano. Koulibaly into the feet of Cano again. Nice football. Al-Dassari. Milinkovic-Savic has space. Malcolm is in behind and has room on this left-hand side. Leonardo in the middle. Cano goes on his overlap. Here is Mohamed Cano. Can he pick out a cross? He can into the middle. Header on goal over the bar from Leonardo. First real chance for Al Hilal. They cut Man City open on the right-hand side. Cano to the end line. Dinks across into the middle of the pitch. Leonardo there. And it's just over the bar. Gets underneath it. Al-Dassari was just behind him as well. If he had left it. Marcus Leonardo has been quiet so far this game. First big chance for his side. Can't take advantage of it. They haven't had many sights of goal. That was one of the few as Savinho now comes forward. A little slipping behind for Bernardo Silva inside. The Al Hilal box has a strike straight up. Bono who saves. City come forward again, searching for that second. Savinho. Mateus Nunes. Infield to Reinders. Silva makes a move ahead of him. Instead, he just goes back to Savinho. They work it so well in those tight little spaces. Silva looking for his second of the game too, just straight at the goalkeeper. Savinho, ball over the top. Find Nunes, lovely flick towards Gundogan. Koulibaly reads it well, steps out and intercepts. Al-Dassari does well to get his pass out to Al Harbi. who carries it into the City half. Counter could be on. Looks for a switch of play. It's a brilliant ball to find Malcolm over the far side of the pitch. City have filtered men back. Malcolm onto his left foot. Thought about the strike. Eventually hits it. Gets a nick on it. And it's a corner kick for Al Hilal. Another good counter from the Saudi side there. Koulibaly reading it well. Al Harbi, carrying it forward. It's a brilliant switch to Malcolm. Cuts back in on his left foot, and Aït-Nouri just gets his toe to it. First corner of the game coming here for Al Hilal as we approach the 45-minute mark. There'll be 5 minutes of additional time with that stoppage at the goal and obviously the cooling break. So 5 minutes left in this first half. Ruben Neves to take from this near side. Can he pick out a man? Listen, on his toes, ready for this corner. Neves delivers towards the back post. It's a poor ball from Ruben Neves. And it's out over the end line for a goal kick. Not what you want in that scenario. As Inzaghi looks on and I wouldn't say disgust, but not exactly the most positive light as we see that Bernardo Silva chance again. Bono equal to it. That's 4 big saves now that I count that he's made in this first half. City have had plenty of attempts on target. I think it's 6 on target this half alone. Began the 5 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Ryan Aït-Nouri. For City, is there a second before half time? Reinders, Ruben Diaz, Savinho, and Doku have looked really lively as Savinho looks to take on Al Harbi once more. A few step overs. Right foot across. Bono gets his hand to it again, and Al Hilal come away with it. Marcus Leonardo just tripped. Referee wave play on, no fouls. Little flick from Gundogan doesn't quite come off inside the box, and Milinkovic-Savic on the ball now. But once more, Yassine Bono, important intervention. Savinho just goes on the outside of his man, flashes a ball across the box. Bono gets his hand to it. As Al Harbi receives that, goes around Nunez, who's on a yellow card, back infield to Al Dasari, now Milinkovic-Savic inside the centre circle. Al Hilal growing in confidence a bit coming forward. Cancelo out on the right-hand side, has Malcolm in support. Here is the Brazilian. As he trots up towards the City box. Back infield for Mohamed Kano. Renan Lodi now, shifted out to the left-hand side. Lodi just dispossessed, but it falls for Al Harbi. Now Ruben Neves. Koulibaly. As Al Hilal push for the goal here. Joao Cancelo back inside to Malcolm. 40 yards from goal. Milinkovic-Savic just crowded out slightly, so forced wide once again. Still in possession. Kano. Joao Cancelo. City have everyone back in a good defensive shape as Koulibaly plays it for Neves. And now Lodi along this left-hand side looks for an early ball into the box, but there's no one there. It's too close to the goalkeeper. Easily claimed by Edison as we see that. Savinho chance again. A few step overs to go on the outside of Al Harbi. Flashes it across. Big, strong right hand once more from Bono. Al eventually clear. Yeah, they come forward on the other side. Doku puts the foot down. Skips around Cancelo, but touches slightly heavy, and Koulibaly just gets across, puts his body in the way, and Doku bundles him over. But again, 2 City wingers, Savinho and Doku, causing all sorts of problems early on in this half. As we approach the final minute of the first 45. Cancelo just over eager in that challenge. Doku skipped by him, but too heavy of a touch, and allows Al Hilal to clear their line through Bono up towards Milinkovic-Savic again. He does well to flick on towards Leonardo, but it's too close to Diaz, who make sure it goes all the way back as far as Ederson. Chipped out to Nuri on the left-hand side. He's just taken down by Malcolm. That'll be a free kick to Manchester City. Taken short. And here is Ruben Diaz. Savinho now. Is there one last attack for City at the end of this half? Savinho forward. Cuts back infield. Gundogan. And Mateus Nunes. And referee blows the half-time whistle. And after the first 45 minutes, it is Manchester City 1, Al Hilal 0. Bernardo Silva, Man City captain, putting his side ahead inside 10 minutes in perhaps controversial circumstances. Well work move down the left-hand side. Reinders and Nuri connecting passes, but as Reinders played the ball into Nuri, it appeared to come off his forearm. The ball eventually broke to Silva inside the 6-yard box to poke home. Yassine Bono has been really busy in the Al Hilal goal, denying Savinho, Gvardiol, Gundogan and Erling Haaland. Big chance for Al Hilal came through Marcus Leonardo at the end, but his header was over the bar. It's all Man City, and they deserve their lead at half-time. We will be back in about 10 minutes in the second half. See you then.
Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Hi everybody, we are almost ready to go for the second half of this FIFA Club World Cup round of 16 clash. Man City leading Al Hilal by a goal, 2-0. Bernardo Silva's strike after 9 minutes. The difference between the two sides at the moment. Al Hilal have gotten us underway in this second half. No changes for either side at the break. City line out as follows Edison in goal, back four of Nunes, Diaz, Guardiola, and Aït-Nouri. Gundogan, Reinders, and Silva in the middle. Savinho, Doku, and Haaland up front. For Al Hilal, Yassine Bono in goal, Joao Cancelo, Kalidou Koulibaly, Ruben Neves, Renan Lodi, and Moteb Al-Harbi as they come forward here through Malcolm. Bit of space, Malcolm on the right hand side, lays it out. Cancelo, can he get across it? He can. It's ball, ricochets, Malcolm, it's blocked on the line, and it's in. They've drawn level. Marcus Leonardo, 44 seconds into the second half, has Al Hilal level. Chaos in the Manchester City box, and the Saudi side draw level. Marcus Leonardo's second goal in as many games. What a start to the second half we have here as the Brazilian celebrates. Brilliantly worked down the right hand side. Malcolm with a surging run forward, lays it to Cancelo, his cross into the box. Edison punches clear, ricochets off Diaz, falls to Malcolm, who has a strike on goal. Diaz blocks it again and loops up into the air, and Marcus Leonardo heads in to an empty net from 6 yards out. Level. What a start to this game. This second half, just 44 seconds on the clock, and Simone Inzaghi's side have pulled it back, and it's all to play for now. As I was running through the team for Al Hilal, Nasser Al-Dosari, Milinkovic, Savic and Cano in the middle, and then Malcolm and the goal scorer Marcus Leonardo leading the line. Took him a while to get off the mark in this tournament, saving it for Pachuca last group game, but he scored there. And he scored today, and here they come again. Milinkovic-Savic out to the right-hand side. Malcolm is one-on-one with Nuri. Cancelo there if he needs him. Here is Cancelo, drives it across, but it's over the bar. What a chance for Al Hilal and Joao Cancelo. Again, Malcolm involved, running at his fullback, just slips it for Cancelo, who should have really drilled it across instead of going for the strike himself. Just comes off the side of his foot. He slips as he hits it over the bar. But Leonardo and Al-Dassari waiting in the middle, and Inzaghi not happy with that. Ederson goes long with the goal kick, looking to set up Erling Haaland the way Neves picks it up though. And Al Hilal pepping their step at the beginning of the second half, and why not? On the left-hand side now, has a chance to come forward. Here's Al Harbi down to the end line, but he's just overrun that, and it's a goal kick. But the Saudi side playing with such confidence now. City look like they haven't even gotten out of the changing rooms as of yet. Just a reminder, if we're level after 90, this will go to extra time and penalties. It is a knockout game, so we do need a winner today. What a start to the half for Al Hilal. Didn't venture forward on too many occasions. Leonardo with the best chance towards the end of that first half, his header over the bar. But this time his header finds the back of the net, and it's fairly uninspired defending from City, but Savinho slipped in Bernardo Silva on the right-hand channel. Silva just forced back as far as Nunes. Guardiola into Doku on this near touchline. Was so dangerous in that first half. Once again, taking on his man Nuri. Back to Guardiola once again. Familiar pattern for City here, just keeping the ball inside the Al Hilal half. Nunes. Right hand pocket, plays it out to Guardiola, who shifts it one more to Doku. Again, Malcolm doubling up with Cancelo. Doku thought about taking them on, instead goes back in field once more. Every Al Hilal player behind the ball. As Diaz moves it out to the right hand side. City just going side to side at the moment. Savinho though now gets across in towards the back post, towards Gundogan. Koulibaly gets his head on. Only fires Doku back across right. Nuri swipes at it, and Al Hilal can come away through Malcolm. Leonardo as well initially to hold it up, but is then dispossessed. Malcolm wanted a return pass, but City have won it back. There's half a chance there as the ball was played back to Ryan Nuri, but he just wildly swings at it. City forward again. Savinho this time. Trying to take on Mohamed Al Harbi. Goes one way, then the other. Eventually gets his cross in, and it's cleared, and it's going to be a triple substitution for Pep Guardiola. Rodri, Kanji, and Nathan Ake all ready to come on. So Spaniard not too happy with what he's seen so far. Corner though from the far side, ball into the box, headed away by Mohamed Kano, sent back in by Reinders. Only as far as Cancelo, who can carry it away. And now he's played in. Al Hilal are through on goal here. Can they finish it off? It's Malcolm one-on-one. And it's in the back of the net. Al Hilal have turned it around. Malcolm puts the Saudi side ahead from one end of the pitch to the other in a flash. Wild celebrations from the Al Hilal bench as Malcolm wheels away. What a goal from the Brazilian winger. Guardiola slumping in his seat. It's a corner from Man City, whipped into the box. Hano gets his head on at the edge of the area. Reinders his header back into the middle, only as far as Cancelo, who takes one touch and then plays an unbelievable pass to Malcolm, who gets the wrong side of the defence. He's onside as he starts it in his own half. Wheels away, he's one-on-one with Ederson and just fires it into the bottom corner. with his left foot. It's an unbelievable finish. And 8 minutes into the second half, Al Hilal lead Manchester City. What a start. We said they looked dangerous on the counter in the first half. And they've really punished City here as the triple change comes in. Núñez is off on a yellow card, of course. Gundogan is off as well. Just waiting for the third change. And Gvardiol, the other player, yellow carded. So you'd imagine Akanji will slot in at right back. Ake into the middle to replace Gvardiol. And then it's a like-for-like swap. Rodri for Ilkay Gundogan. But what a start to the second half. Al Hilal 1-0 down at half-time. Now lead Manchester City 2-1. Unbelievable turnaround. Rodri gets an early touch at Kanji now. Back to Rodri, who obviously made his first start against Juventus since that ACL injury in September last year that kept him out all season. Can he make a difference? Can he help turn this around for City? They look to make it 2 World Cup wins out of 2. Beat Fluminense 4-0 in the final in 2023. It is the Brazilian side who await the winners of this tie, as Doku does well to win a corner kick for his side, but we saw what happened last time from a Man City corner. Bernardo Silva to take again. Diaz, Haaland and Ake in conversation at the edge of the Al Hilal box. It'll be an outswinger from the left foot of Silva into the area. Haaland gets his head on it. Might break for Ake. It's in. Erling Haaland gets it on the rebound. We are level again. Less than 10 minutes into the second half. Erling Haaland has barely had a sniff so far, but he doesn't need much of an invitation. Pokes home from close range. He initially got the first header on it. We'll see it again. Silva's ball in towards the near post. Haaland gets his head on it. It ricochets off Ake. And as ever, it's the big Norwegian to react first inside the 6-yard area. And poke home past Bono. Goes in between the goalkeeper's legs. Not much he could do about it. And we are level once again. Just 10 minutes into this second half. 3 goals already. What an opening 10. As Al Hilal come forward, they come in again. City are stretched. It's Malcolm. Goes down in the penalty area. It is a spot kick. Unbelievable drama here in Orlando. They've disallowed it. Offside flag is up. No penalty. Is there no end to the drama here? Ball over the top. Simple ball forward from Cancelo to Malcolm. Gets the wrong side of Aït-Nouri. Malcolm drives into the box. Diaz comes forward, goes to the ground. Malcolm, it's a clear foul, but the offside flag is up. Malcolm can't believe it. Referee is double checking with VAR that the offside decision is correct. Remember, we have semi-automated. What a turnaround this will be. Moments after City drew level, Malcolm thought he's won a penalty. Referee has confirmed the offside. No penalty. Now, as Cancelo played it over the top, Malcolm just makes his run too early. Inzaghi having a word with the fourth official, but the decision has been made. And now Doku forward for City. Gets a strike away from the edge of the box. just dribbles into the arms of Bono. What an opening 10 or so minutes. Absolutely breathless stuff here between Al Hilal and City. As Rodri picks it up, his pass is a loose one, and Milinkovic-Savic can intercept, but he's dispossessed by Rodri. And now Doku has space, slips it into Haaland. Haaland tries to get a cross away. It's blocked by Neves. Comes for Doku again. Rodri at the edge of the box, floated in. Neves in the way once more. Leonardo goes down under a challenge of Reinders. Referee waves play on. Savinho tries to slip it in behind for Silva, but Al Hilal intercept. Milinkovic-Savic's clearance is blocked and falls for Doku at the edge of the area. Doku strikes straight at Bono. Al Hilal players furious. They felt as though there was another handball in there. Milinkovic-Savic cross. Referee waves play on. Oh, what drama we have here. 2-2 just at the hour mark. City come forward again. Doku. Midfield to Silva. Jeremy Doku once more. Ryan out Nuri. Diaz shifts it on to Rodri, and now Savinho trying to make something happen onto his left foot. Just gets dispossessed. City still have it though. Rodri. Again, Al Hilal all camped behind the ball within 30 yards of their goal. The City probe once more. Jeremy Doku puts inside on his right foot. Space close. Reinders. Rodri out to the left hand side. Savinho will have a go. Looks for Silva, cut out again. This time it's Renan Lodi in the way. Al Hilal clear. Hanging on a bit now, the Saudi side. Like Nuri. To Rodri, who's come short. Back to the fullback. Ruben Diaz. Akanji now has it. Rodri once more. Back to Akanji, who's forced out to the right-hand side. Savinho. Al Hilal holding well at the moment. An hour gone. Bernardo Silva fizzes it into the feet of Haaland. Tries for the return ball. Bono out of his goal. Can smother it. Absolutely breathless opening 15 minutes to this second half. Cancelo finds a nice ball infield to Cano. Leonardo comes short. Milinkovic-Savic forward. Al-Dassari could be in behind. Here is Nasser Al-Dassari. Gets the wrong side. Akanji goes to ground. Wins the ball. It's an unbelievable challenge from Manuel Akanji. Once again, City carved open. Just a ball over the top. Caught flat-footed. Nasser Al-Dassari. He's still down inside the City box. No danger of a penalty this time, though. Clean challenge from Manuel Akanji. Jeremy Doku now. Tijani Reinders back to Rodri. And now Ake. Al-Dassari back on his feet and back into the defensive line. Rodri lines it up from 30 yards. Gets a deflection. Out for a corner. As we see that again. Textbook challenge from Manuel Akanji. Nasser Al-Dassari just overruns it slightly before he could get his strike away. But again, City playing so high, a ball over the top. Good pace from Nasser Al-Dassari to get onto it. Here comes the corner from Bernardo Silva. Floating towards the back post. Koulibaly heads away. Strike from the edge of the box from Reinders. Blocked by Neves. And City will start again. Here's Rodri. Switches it out to the left-hand side. Bernardo Silva has space. Back infield to Ryan Nuri. Doku wants it at the back post. Aït-Nouri goes to his left again. Now Silva delivers towards Doku. Gets his head on it, but it's wide. Couldn't get the direction on it. It's a good leap from Jeremy Doku, but the direction was never there. And it's a goal kick. And as we see the offside decision again, that led to the penalty. It's marginal. Malcolm's left forearm and toe on his right foot are offside. But that's what the semi-automated system is there for 100% accuracy, as Milinkovic-Savic does well to win a free kick off Nathan Ake there. Ake just with his arms around the Serbian midfielder and a little shove in his back. No real complaints there. So free kick for Al Hilal. Just inside the city half. Neves to deliver. Big boys forward for Al Hilal. He goes short to Cancelo. Malcolm outside him. But Cancelo delivers towards Koulibaly at the back post. Gets his foot to it. My fault for Milinkovic-Savic. City get it away. Eventually Neves thought about the strike. Flag is up inside the box. So it'll be a free kick to City. Looked like Ruben Neves was going to line one up from about 35 yards out. But I think it's Nasser Al-Dosari penalised for that offside. Substitution incoming for Al Hilal here. Malcolm is off after putting his side ahead. And it looks like it will be the young Brazilian taking his place. How Cesar, signed from Vitória Guimarães in January. Cesar, 10 million euros in place for another Brazilian winger. Like for like substitution. Fresh legs for Inzaghi. Now out to the right hand side. City come forward again. Savinho. Back to Akanji. Thought about the cross. Instead goes back to Rodri. Doku. Cesar dives in, challenge. Doku skips past him. Infield to Rodri. Savinho makes a run. Instead he goes to Manuel Akanji. Rodri again. Silva. Back to Rodri, who's already dictating play. Ryan Aït-Nouri now. Little ball in behind Doku. Can he get there? He can't. Ball across. Renan Lodi with a vital interception to just clear his lines. Dangerous once more from Jeremy Doku. Holland had gone near post. And Renan Lodi just clears his lines. Nathan Ake back to Aït-Nouri. Cesar battling to try win it back. Aït-Nouri on his outside. Cancelo closes the cross. It's another throw in. .65 minutes on the clock. Still 2-2 here. Aït-Nouri throws it in. Reinders now maybe has a chance for a shot. Cuts back inside. Reinders just running out of room, and eventually Mohamed Kano tackles him. Poor pass from the Al Hilal captain though. Aït-Nouri. Doku. Danger still not over. Tries to find Haaland. Here is Haaland. Koulibaly comes across. Blocks the cross. And it's a throw in. Al Hilal playing themselves into a bit of trouble there. City push for a third. Doku slips past Cancelo to the end line, cross into the box towards Haaland. Kano is there, and it's another corner kick. Pressure building here by Manchester City. 25 minutes remaining. Is there more drama to come? Silva. Cross into the box, headed away by Cancelo at the near post. Rodri lays it to Aït-Nouri. Back to Rodri, and they've worked it well. Reinders, Silva free on this left-hand side if he plays it to him. Here is Bernardo Silva. Thought about the cross, and still comes back infield to Doku. Here's Rodri. Silva now. Now we'll swing it in. It's a brilliant challenge though by Cesar, the substitute, to prevent the cross. It's another corner. Silva just dawdled on it slightly. You have a chance to to deliver from this set piece. Bernardo Silva towards the near post, gets a flick. Cesar, spectacular clearance, but free kick has been awarded. Erling Haaland penalised, a bit of a shove there. I think it's on Renan Lodi at the near post. Appears to be in some discomfort, and yeah, it's a bit of a barge from Haaland on Lodi, just using his forearm to shove the Brazilian defender out of the way, but he catches him sort of in the throat, neck area. Lodi not too happy, gesturing with his forearm to the referee to show what happened. In fact, it was Marcus Leonardo, the injured party, back on his feet now as Yasin Bono clears his lines up towards the Brazilian. Lovely chested flick to find Milinkovic-Savic, who stumbled slightly but releases a brilliant pass out to the left-hand side. Here's Al Harbi, finds Aldasari, ball to the penalty spot. Rodri there to pick up the pieces though, and Akanji can clear up towards Haaland. Does well to win it ahead of Neves, holds it up brilliantly. Haaland, now Silva in the centre circle. Al Hilal stretch, plays it to Doku on the left-hand side. One-on-one versus Cancelo. Koulibaly across. Brilliant defending from the Senegalese man to win it back. Familiar side over the years. Kalidou Koulibaly to the rescue once more. As Al Hilal look to play out from the back, Lodi nearly just caught in possession by Haaland. They've done well to bring it forward. Slight suspicion of a pull back, but Al Hilal still on the ball as they look for that pass over the top again. Leonardo tries to get the wrong side of Diaz, goes down. Referee says play on. Ruben Diaz stretching to win that back. Leonardo still on the floor. Referee will stop the game again. Diaz looking away. Referee wasn't interested initially at all. Leonardo still down at the edge of the Man City box. We'd have to see that again. It's just a ball over the top. This time it's Al Harbi who just tries it. No, it's a good challenge. Ruben Diaz gets the ball first. Outstretched right leg back to his goalkeeper. Then Leonardo that goes down. There's not much contact. No suspicions of a foul there. Ruben Diaz, good piece of defending. Leonardo looking for a foul on that occasion. But no danger of it. Jesus Valenzuela, our referee, in a good position there. Never going to give it. So we will restart play with Manchester City in possession here. We're just having a word with Mohamed Kano. In fact, we will have a cooling break. 20 minutes remaining on the clock. Al Hilal players still around the referee. Not too sure what their complaints are. Obviously, they were complaining since the first goal for City, which they, you have to say, have an argument for, but penalty incident we saw on replay. Malcolm was in an offside position. But as we enter this cooling break, City 2, Al Hilal 2, and manic 10 minutes at the beginning of the second half. Marcus Leonardo drawing his level after 42 seconds of the second period. Then Malcolm putting his side ahead just 6 minutes later, before 3 minutes after that Erling Haaland drawing his level once more. Both sets of players just down on the sideline. Getting fluids on board, tactical advice from the coaching staff as well. Their second Club World Cup. Lifting the trophy in their first appearance of the tournament a few years ago against the quarter-final opponents Fluminense, who beat Inter Milan, Inzaghi's old club, earlier today. Al Hilal, best finish for them. Second in 2022, beaten 5-3 in the final by Real Madrid. Fifth time at this competition for Saudi Arabia's most successful club. 19 league titles, and they've really performed at a good level in this tournament. Level with City with 20 minutes to go. Obviously a drawn with Real Madrid and RB Salzburg in this tournament. The other European opponents for beating Pachuca. So they're more than comfortable at this level. We will restart. Cooling break has finished, so Rodri just with the ball in the centre circle. Just under 20 minutes remaining. Do we have a winner here in Orlando? Will we go another half an hour? Ruben Diaz, Kanji, Jeremy Doku now on this left-hand side. Lovely little slip pass. Aït-Nouri is in behind, flashes it across. Neves gets hold of it, and it's out for a corner. Al Hilal want an offside flag against Ryan Aït-Nouri, but it stays down, so it will be a corner. Again, lovely football from City. Bernardo Silva with this corner kick, swung in towards the middle of the goal. Haaland in there. Doku, somehow it's over the bar. Jeremy Doku, huge chance. Ball into the box from Bernardo Silva. Haaland gets the initial head on it at the near post. It loops up into the air, and Doku, 3 yards out, somehow heads it over. A massive chance. He just gets the wrong side of Cancelo. In fact, it comes off his shoulder, and it's over the bar. Huge opportunity there for City to retake the lead. But it's another chance gone begging. They've had so many opportunities, particularly first half City. Bono pulled off numerous saves, and then Doku with the chance there. Al Hilal with the ball now, tight in the middle of the pitch. Neves does well to get it out of his feet and switch it to the left-hand side. Here's Renan Lodi. Back to Ruben Neves. Cesar wants it in behind. Neves' pass is a poor one that time. City regain possession. Rodri finds Reinders. Manages to turn. Tijani Reinders carries it forward, goes down under a challenge of Koulibaly. Referee waves, play on. Cancelo can carry it forward now for Al Hilal. Has support. Leonardo trying to get in behind again. Diaz once more. Just gets the step ahead. Plays it back to Ederson. Once more, really good defending from Ruben Diaz there. Rodri carries it forward. Aït-Nouri. Here's Doku. Reinders ahead of him. Goes back to Aït-Nouri instead. Rodri. Manuel Akanji. Savinho. Taking on the fullback. Savinho to the end line. Crosses blocked. Another corner kick. Renan Lodi again putting his body on the line. 15 minutes or so remaining. Will Pep Guardiola turn to his bench? He's already made 3 substitutions. He has the likes of Phil Foden, Ryan Cherky, Omar Marmoush. Here's Silva though with the corner kick all the way to the back post. Big header by Koulibaly. Aït-Nouri looking for Reinders. Between the two of them, tried to get it down. It's worked its way back to Aït-Nouri now. Doku. Infield to Rodri at the edge of the box. Thought about the shot, instead tries the return pass to Doku, but very uncharacteristic from the Spaniard. Passes off target, and it's a goal kick. Looks like Gundogan looks on. He was one of the substitutes early in the second half. yet. Bono goes long with this goal kick. Milinkovic Savic to the target once more. Cesar goes down under a challenge there of Aït-Nouri, and he's won himself a free kick. Cesar has looked good, looked lively, excuse me. He's coming out of the pitch. Hasn't really done much in an attacking sense, but he's shut himself about, and he's done well to win a free kick for his side, right next to the Al Hilal dugout, inside the city half, and Ruben Neves over it. Zaghi just giving Cesar instructions as he's next to him there on the sideline. Neves and Cesar over this free kick. Chance to get this in towards the city box. Neves, right foot delivery. Ball in, it's a free header. Mohamed Kano got in behind the city defence. It's a brilliant ball in from Neves. Kano on the penalty spot. Just can't quite get a connection onto it. A free header, a huge chance there for Al Hilal. Can't quite take advantage of it though. Chance goes begging. Savinho. Kanji City once more. Playing the edge of the Al Hilal box. Nathan Ake. Here's Aït-Nouri. Back to Doku. Doku cuts inside Cesar, tries to go around Cancelo. He's done so. He's in the box. Koulibaly sticks out a leg, falls for Aït-Nouri. Cesar needs to be careful here, but they've done well to win it back, Al Hilal, and Koulibaly clears. He's been really good at the back, as is Kalidou Koulibaly this evening. Rodri now. Kanji. There's Ruben Diaz, and now Tijani Reinders once more. Doku. Maybe wants another run at the full-back. Cesar comes across to help out. Back to Aït-Nouri, ball into the box. Neves gets his head to it. Only as far as Savinho at the edge of the area. Savinho onto his left foot, lines up to strike, lays it to Rodri, gets it back. Aït-Nouri now. Al closing the spaces. Nathan Ake, it's all very narrow for Manchester City. Here's Manuel Akanji. Bernardo Silva picks it up on the right-hand side. Looking to take on Al Harbi. Back to Akanji. No way through for City as of yet. Al Hilal forcing them back. Manuel Akanji. Rodri. Back to the Swiss defender. Silva wants it. Here is Bernardo Silva. No real movement ahead of him. Looks to get a cross in instead out to Nathan Ake. City not finding any gaps whatsoever in that Al Hilal backline. They're just holding the ball 30-35 yards from goal. Now here's Savinho. Edge of the box. Looks for space for a cross. Fires one in. Neves in the way. Lodi trying to get it clear. Just brought down. Ref wave play on. City have it once more. Rodri. Aït-Nouri. Gary Doku. 10 minutes remaining on the clock. Still level here in Orlando. Nathan Ake. Ruben Diaz. Here's Reinders. Savinho, edge of the area. Can he create room for the shot? Heavy touch. Akanji does well to keep it alive. And it's Rodri. Al Hilal just working so tirelessly. Reinders. Space for the cross towards Haaland at the back post. Gets his head on it. But it's over the bar. Man City so patient in their build-up. Reinders floats one towards the back post. Haaland does well to peel off the back of Koulibaly, but Koulibaly eventually gets his head on it, and then it fires off the head of Erling Haaland. And it's a goal kick. Substitution here for Al Hilal. It's Ali Lejami coming on for them, and he will replace Mohamed Kano. Good shift from Kano once more, as you'd expect from the skipper. And Ali Lejami, 29-year-old Saudi international, and Hilal's rivals Al Nasser will sign for Al Hilal just before this tournament. Savage heads on towards Marcus Leonardo. Can't quite get onto it. Doku and Cancelo challenging for the same ball. Cancelo wins it, but City on it now. Nathan Ake. Jami has just taken his spot at the middle of that defence next to Koulibaly and Lodi. Neves pushed up into the middle of the pitch. Reinders, first time lay off to Rodri as they probe into the Al Hilal half once more. Doku needs support, goes around Cesar, tries to take on Cancelo. Ball into the box is blocked by Cancelo. Corner kick for City. 83 minutes on the clock, still tied at 2-2. Bernardo Silva with the corner once more. Extra time awaiting. Towards the near post. Akanji gets his head to it. It's off the post. Haaland, it's off the line. Unbelievable defending from Al Hilal. No signal from the referee. Brilliant piece of defending. Ball floated in. Akanji's header off the post. It fell to Haaland, who thought he had a tap in, but it's off the line. I think it's Lejami, the new man, who got it, but City come forward again. Doku. Back to Bernardo Silva. City so close to going ahead again. Doku once more. Fired across. This time it's Lejami once more to clear. What an opportunity that was for Erling Haaland. Rodri. Diaz. Here's Nathan Ake. Doku receives it on the left-hand side. Infield to Rodri. He lets it run as far as Diaz lines up a shot from outside the box. Straight up Bono, who's that's to tap it over the bar. Good strike from Ruben Diaz. And relatively comfortable for Yassine Bono, but it's over and it's another corner kick. Bernardo Silva once more. Swings it towards the back post. Haaland gets his head on it, back across. Akanji can't quite reach it. Lodi with a chance to clear it. It's not the best one, it's intercepted. Savinho, Akanji. Out to Bernardo Silva, back to Akanji on the right-hand side. Low cross into the box. Lodi stretches and it's another corner. City really piling on the pressure. 5 minutes remaining, plus additional time. Still 2-2. Al Hilal player down as we see that chance again. Ake. It's unbelievable defending from Lejami just onto the pitch. Ball is flicked into the air. It's off the post as Bono scrambles to get it. Here comes the other corner. Diaz gets his head to it. Haaland tried to get the second ball, but Bono gathers. Dangerous moments this for Al Hilal. And Haaland appears to have taken a knock. Hobbling and holding his left quad, it looks like. As Lejami stretched for that, but Al Hilal can come forward. Cancelo into the Manchester City half. Milinkovic Savic there. Cancelo ignores him for the moment. Here's Ruben Neves. Renan Lodi. Lejami switches out to Cesar, who has room on this near side. Cesar looking to take on Ait Nuri. Well defended initially by the City full-back. Cesar can't keep it in play and it will be a goal kick. Another opportunity there for Haaland from another set piece. It's Diaz who gets it. Gets a Flick on, and Haaland, it just cannons off his high and into the arms of Bono. Another substitution here for Al Hilal, and Joao Cancelo is off, and it looks like Ali Boulahi is on. Ali Boulahi, and then Motab Al Harbi is also off for Al Hilal, and Hamad Al Yami is on in his space. So Al Yami and Al Boulahi on, Cancelo and Al Harbi off. So changes at the fullback positions. 2 minutes of normal time remaining here. Is there a winner in this game? Or do we require extra time? City forward again. Ruben Diaz. Recent tester of Yassine Bono. Works it out to this left-hand side. Doku takes on Cesar and then tries to take on Al-Balahi. And the throw-in. Erling Haaland can't quite believe it. He's had a lot of chances. Another corner kick to come. Silva once more to deliver. Floated into the box. Bono punches. Leonardo tries to get it away. There's a Man City player down. Savinho at the edge of the box. City want a free kick. Referee waves play on. Reinders. Rodri. Nathan Ake. Kanji. And there's Savinho on the right hand side. Taking on Renan Lodi. Back to Kanji. Cross is closed down there, and now Renan Lodi can carry it forward for Al Hilal. Picks a good pass as far as Leonardo, and now Neves. Space for Cesar on this right hand side. Here's Keo Cesar taking on Aït-Nouri. Needs support, tries to bend one, and it's over the bar, and Ali Al Boulahi on his overlap wanted that played to him. So we see the Haaland opportunity again. Unbelievable piece of defending there from Ali Lajami. Stretches out his right leg to clear it off the line. We'll have 6 additional minutes at the end of this game. 6 additional minutes. Marcus Leonardo is on the floor. Referee tells him to get up. And either side find a winner here. Reinders to Rodri. Ake into the Al Hilal half. Players from the Saudi club just looking tired. Aït-Nouri down on the left hand side. Brilliant challenge there from Koulibaly. And then Milinkovic Savic. Caught slightly, but he's picked a good pass there as far as Yami. But they've been turned over again. Hanji out to Savinho. Taking on Lodi. Savinho on the outside. Can he get a cross in? Good play there by Renan Lodi. Gets his body in the way, shepherds it out, and it'll be a goal kick. Savinho unable to get away from his countryman there. You have to wonder what Pep Guardiola is thinking. Like we mentioned, Omar Marmoush, Ryan Cherki, Phil Foden, all on the bench for Manchester City. I'm very surprised we haven't seen any of those introduced as of yet. Still have 2 subs remaining, plus 1 at the beginning of extra time, so maybe it's a case of a triple change if it goes beyond the 90. 5 of the 6 additional minutes left. Milinkovic Savic flicked on towards Cesar. Aït-Nouri wins it. Milinkovic Savic sends it towards Leonardo. Ake penalised for a foul there. Just caught the wrong side. So, another chance for Neves to get this into the box. Similar spot. Neves, right foot delivery towards the near post, headed away by Ake. Doku does well to control it out of the sky. Tries to carry it forward for City, but he's overrun it. And it's a throw in for Al Hilal. Inside the City half. Long throw in to come. Najami into the box. Reinders gets his head to it. Silva hooks it up into the sky. And Savinho trying to get it down and carry it forward, and he's bundled over there on the far side. And it's a free kick to Manchester City. Renan Lodi hits the deck. I think Al Hilal want this to go to extra time. City searching for a winner. 2 minutes left of the additional 6. Rodri. Kanji onto Savinho. Savinho, space for the cross, but no real options in the box. Exchanges pass with Reinders. Savinho again, now can cross it in towards Haaland, away by Lejami. And Al Hilal cleared up towards Marcus Leonardo. Goes down under a challenger, Ruben Diaz. Referee waves play on. Reinders. Here's Rodri. Kanji works it to Savinho. No space for a cross. Rodri again. Nathan Ake. Again, City just going from side to side, looking for an opening here. 90 seconds left. Rodri switches play to Doku out on this near touchline. Doku controls it inside. Can he get across? He can, towards Haaland, headed away, only to Rodri at the edge of the box. They've worked it to Savinho. Savinho against Lodi. Back to Rodri. Silva now at the edge of the box, cuts in field. Bernardo Silva lines up to shoot, has a strike, deflected. Aït-Nouri in there, Bono can claim. Was that the last opportunity? We have 1 minute remaining. Bono out towards Milinkovic-Savic on this near touchline. It's a brilliant first touch from the Serb. Gets it back from Cesar. Is there a chance for Al Hilal? Forward again. Here they come. Marcus Leonardo at the edge of the box. Lines up to shoot. Milinkovic-Savic is there. Cannons it off at Kanji. Corner kick. Inzaghi applauds. You have to wonder if Leonardo could have hit it initially when it came to him. It's good work there from Al Yami as well in to release the pass to Leonardo. But just took his time over it and couldn't lay it back to Milinkovic-Savic. But he's won a corner, and surely this is the last act of the 90. Otherwise, we are heading for extra time. Corner from Neves. Floated in towards the box. Ederson punches away. And now Doku on his bike. Doku may be able to lead the counter. He's picked it up. Al Hilal stretch. Jeremy Doku is hacked down. And referee has blown the full-time whistle. He says no foul. Doku is incensed. Guardiola is on the pitch. We are going to extra time here in Orlando. Guardiola now in the face of Jesus Valenzuela, pleading for a foul there. Referee says there was no contact. The drama continues here. Guardiola absolutely incensed at the end of full time here. But at the end of the 90 minutes, it's Manchester City 2, Al Hilal 2. We will be going to extra time. We will be back shortly to bring you commentary of that. We'll see you soon.
Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you for listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps, and more in-depth info on the match page.
Everybody, we are almost ready to go for the first period of extra time here in Orlando. 2-2 after the 90. It is a double substitution for Manchester City at the beginning of extra time. Tijani Reinders is off and he's replaced by Ryan Cherki, and Erling Haaland also making way in favour of Omar Marmoush. So Pep Guardiola ringed the changes at the beginning of extra time. It will be Al Hilal to get us underway for the first period. 2 15-minute halves, remember, and if not, it will be penalty shootout for a place in the Club World Cup quarter-final on Saturday, back in Orlando against Fluminense of Brazil. So both sides not being able to separate it after 90 minutes. So we have another half an hour. 2-2 the scoreline here. the third round of 16 game to go to extra time. Palmeiras beating Botafogo 1-0. Chelsea running out 4-1 winners against Benfica on Saturday, both games here in Orlando. We go the distance again. So Man City on the ball here. Brian Aït-Nouri now. Marmoush makes a move ahead of him. Goes to Doku. And then Rodri. Angie. Up the tempo. Here's Savinho. To take on Renan Lodi. Savinho. Little shimmy there. But he goes back as far as Ryan Cherki. First involvement for the former Leon man. Diaz. Cherki. Again. Cherki, little ball over the top, finds Marmoush, flick back towards Silva, but Koulibaly there. Once more, two substitutes combining immediately. Cherki again glides past one and another. Can he get his cross in? He can't, flashes across it. The box cannons off Koulibaly once more. Corner kick, Ryan Cherki. Immediate impact from the Frenchman. And they have a corner taken quickly. Silva. Here is Cherki again. Bernardo Silva. Back to Ryan Cherki, trying to create an angle for the cross. It comes into the box. Koulibaly away. Trying to scramble clear. Marmoush has a shot. Might fall for Ake. It does. Doku on this right-hand side, onto his left foot. Shoots. A few ricochets in the box. Eventually falls for Milinkovic-Savic. He was just dawdling on it in his own 18-yard area. Al Hilal eventually get it away. Through Al Yami, but nearly panic stations at the back there. Big switch of play out towards Doku, taking on Al Yami, back inside. Ryan Cherki at the edge of the box, tries a little slip past. It wasn't on though, and Al Hilal can come away. Kjell Cesar now going to lead the counter attack. He's done well, brought down. Referee says play on. But it falls for Milinkovic-Savic. Neves now in the centre circle. Lodi is forward from left back. He's picked him out. Has his Neves. Renan Lodi inside the City box. Tries a shot. Well blocked by Diaz. Corner kick. Brilliant running there from Renan Lodi. Steaming forward from left back. It's a wonderful ball in behind by Neves to pick him out. Lodi gets away from Savinho. But Diaz to put his body in the way. And a corner kick for Al Hilal. So Neves to take this corner. Can he pick out someone? Float it in towards the middle. Koulibaly! It's a goal! Al Hilal back in front. 3.5 minutes into extra time. Kalidou Koulibaly heads home. City behind yet again. And it is the big Senegalese captain who puts his side ahead. Inzaghi. Calm demeanour on the bench. I'm sure he's delighted inside. 3-2 here in Orlando. Brilliant header from the ex-Chelsea man. It's a lovely floated ball in from Neves, but Koulibaly, he's free inside the 6-yard area. It's really poor marking from Man City. Jumps in between Diaz and Ake and just guides it into the top corner. Past Ederson, no real chance for the goalkeeper. Al Hilal ahead again early into extra time. And what a game we're having here. City looks stunned. They forced 10 saves from Yassine Bono and still find themselves behind. Just 3 minutes into the extra time period, and it is 3-2 to the Saudi side. Is the response? They've drawn level before. Can they do it again? Savinho Akanji on his outside. Back infield to Diaz. Rodri, now Ake. Jeremy Doku. Fainted across. Cesar does well to get the initial challenge on him. And he's kept it in play, Keo Cesar. Poor ball forward from Al Yami, and they've won it back. Cherky trying to escape the clutches of Milinkovic-Savic. Rodri. It's Akanji on this right-hand side. Savinho as they go wide again. Renan Lodi not giving him an inch. Back to Akanji, and now Nathan Ake. Again, City just playing the ball in front of Al Hilal's box at the moment. Savinho again. Taking on his man. Cross into the box. Headed away by Al Boulaye. Who's taken the captain's armband to coming on and replacing Mohamed Kano. Savinho again. Lodi standing his ground. Back to Akanji. Nathan Ake. Good pressure from Milinkovic-Savic forces Ake back into his own half for Diaz. Al Hilal working so hard off the ball. Inzaghi is on the pitch urging his side up the field. Had to be told by the fourth official to get back into his technical area. Akanji. Silva. They've numbers on this right hand side. Silva drives at the defence. Neves gets a tackle in. Falls for Akanji. He picks out Savinho. Back infield to Ruben Diaz. Savinho once more. Trying to create a 2-on-1 on this right hand side. No space though. They shifted again into the middle. Rodri. Out Nuri makes a move. Out to Doku. It's a poor pass from Rodri. Intercepted by Al Yami now. Who can carry it forward for Al Hilal. Goes around Rodri easily. Al Yami. Brilliant defending. Milinkovic-Savic now. Tried a ball in behind, but Cesar had stayed still. Didn't make the run. And it's a turnover possession, but wonderful play there from Al Yami, the other substitute. City come forward again. Savinho on this right-hand side. Forces Lodi back, but plays it instead to Cherky. Diaz out to Ake. Again, no space at all in between the lines for City as they try to work it wide again. Here's Manuel Akanji. Cherky doing his best to pick it up to try to create a spark. Savinho tries to go around Lodi. He's taken down, and it's a free kick as Phil Foden just receiving some instructions, ready to come onto the pitch. Foul committed there. Lodi just... There is contact there as Savinho just lured him in before nicking it around him. So a free kick for Manchester City. Really dangerous position on the right-hand side. Just level with the edge of the 18-yard area. Bernardo Silva can whip this in. Al Hilal sitting fairly deep at the edge of their own 6-yard area. It's a one-man wall of Nasser Al-Dassari. Diaz, Ake, Akanji all forward. Silva looking to pick someone out. Referee just having a word. Yassine Bono just telling his side where to hold. Silva whips it in with his left foot towards the back post, headed the back across, and Bono somehow gets his hand to it. It was Rodri at the back stick. Bono goes down holding his hamstring. So we'll have a small stoppage here. Silva whipped it to the far post. Rodri unmarked, but Bono does well to just spread himself wide. I think Rodri may have been offside anyway, as he looked to head it back across the box. It was nearly going out of play, and it took a lucky bounce off Al Yami. So Bono could gather. So Phil Foden ready to come on the pitch. It is in fact Rodri who is coming off. So Rodri introduced right at the beginning of the second half, can't continue, and he's gone straight down the tunnel, so that's a worry for Pep Guardiola. Rodri appears to have picked up an injury of some sort. Phil Foden on in his place. Cherki will drop deep alongside Bernardo Silva. Foden a bit more forward, so Rodri off, Foden on. 100 minutes, 5 minutes to go till half time and extra time. City still trail. Here's Savinho, back to Cherki. Savinho again, tried the return pass, blocked by Renan Lodi. Savinho forced wide, and now Ruben Dias again. Inzaghi urging his team up the pitch to squeeze Manchester City. Dias now will just try one over the top for Marmoush. Well read there by Al-Bulahi. Just puts it out for a throw-in. Taken by Savinho. Now Ryan Cherki. Ruben Dias. Midfield to Foden, involved straight away. Shifted out to the left-hand side. Jeremy Doku. Al-Hilal holding on. Doku skips inside. Ruben Dias. Nathan Ake. Phil Foden once more. Doku's come in off his wing. 30 yards from goal. Skips past Milinkovic-Savic. Lays it to Savinho. Cross comes in, floating towards Foden at the back post. Koulibaly heads up into the air. Al-Yami gets there before Ait-Nouri. Cesar puts a challenge in on Ake, and it's a throw in for Manchester City. Al-Hilal working so hard. Cherki. Cross is blocked by Milinkovic-Savic. Kai Cesar tries to control it, but he's nicked by Ait-Nouri. City on the ball again. Cherki. Little pass into Foden, tries to get the return. Lodi read it the whole way, boots it clear for another throw-in. But Cherki looking lively as we approach the final 2.5 minutes of the first half of extra time. Foden in behind, gets across in, dealt with there by Lajami. Puts it behind, perhaps a bit unorthodoxly, for a corner kick. Lajami obviously with that incredible goal line clearance from Erling Haaland at the end of the second half. Ball in from Silva. Corner, gets a few ricochets, nearly falls for Diaz. Bono can smother it. Al-Hilal just getting the bouncing of the ball from those set pieces at the moment. Bono looking for Leonardo, intercepted by Akanji. Marcus Leonardo still running, hasn't seen much action in the last 20 minutes or so. Led the line really well. City come forward. Ryan Cherki again. Ruben Dias, Akanji forward. Dias ignores him, goes back to Cherki. Now here's Akanji. Cherki again. Foden makes a move into the box. Can he find him? Foden at the back post. We're level again. Phil Foden off the bench makes it 3-3. It's a wonderful pick out from Ryan Cherki. Floats it towards the back post. Foden ghosting in behind. Puts it into the bottom corner. For a third time we are level right before half time and extra time. Foden appears to have hurt himself in the act of scoring. He's hobbling. He's back on his feet. But we are level once again in Orlando. Cherki, an absolutely delicious ball to the back post. Foden gets in between Koulibaly and Al-Yami. First time finish with his left foot. Past Bono on the volley. And it just appears after putting that away, Foden gets his left foot caught underneath Al-Yami. Struggling slightly. But we are level once again. What a game we have here. 3-3 in Orlando. Players out on their feet here. We've played the first 15 minutes of the first half. We'll have one additional minute at the end here. 3-3. It's time for more drama before half time. Savinho, back to Cherki again. Finds Akanji. Akanji tries to play it out to Savinho. Crosses, block, corner kick. Nasser Al-Dossari blocking that one. Looks dead on his feet. Does the Al Hilal player. He's played 105 minutes. Corner taken short to Doku. Cross in towards the back post. Away by Lajami. Al-Yami keeps it in play over the far side. He'll just clear his lines up towards Cesar. Flicked on. Finds Leonardo. Here is Marcus Leonardo. Held up and then brought down by Akanji, who receives a yellow card for his troubles, Manuel Akanji. Just a cynical drag back there from the Swiss international. As Leonardo held it up on halfway. And we've played all the additional time here. That is half-time in extra time. 3-3 here. Kalidou Koulibaly put Al Hilal back ahead just 3 minutes into the first half, but right at the end, 2 substitutes in extra time. Ryan Cherki and Phil Foden combining. The Frenchman picking out the Englishman at the back post who put home past Yassine Bono. Half-time in extra time, 3-3. We will have commentary of the second half in just a few moments. We'll speak to you then.
For listening to FootMob's audio commentary. Be sure to check out player ratings, shot maps and more in-depth info on the match page. Remember to check out FootMob's social channels on Facebook.
Ready to go for the second period of extra time here. Manchester City 3, Al Hilal 3. It's been absolutely breathless stuff here in Orlando as Al Hilal make their final substitution of the game. Nasser Al-Dossari is off and he is being replaced by Musab Al-Jawari. So Al-Jawari on for the last 15 minutes. Al-Dossari off, put in a real shift, looked really leggy towards the end, so no surprise there. Al-Jawari on in his place. But we are back underway here. Man City again continuing to probe that back line in behind. Marmoush could be a winner here. Brilliant defending from Lajami once more. Lovely ball floated into Marmoush, who found himself in behind, and Lajami puts his body on the line. He's won a free kick for his side. Savinho with the pick out, similar to the ball that Cherki played in for Foden for the equalizer. And Lajami stretched Marmouche, really good run. First touch just takes him wide slightly, allowing Lajami to get the right side and hook it away, and then shoved over by the Egyptian striker. But Lajami with another vital interception in the same end where he cleared that Haaland chance off the line. So, free kick. Bono will just send long towards Milinkovic-Savic. One in the air by Ake. Foden forward for Marmouche. Heavy first touch. Al-Yami can pick it up for Al Hilal. Down the line for Cesar. Put out by Ait Nuri. But it's a throw in for Al Hilal, right on the halfway line. Ahmad Al-Yami with the ball in his hands. Cesar trying to escape Ait Nuri's clutches. Went down. Referee says play on. Now it's thrown into the feet of Cesar. Can't quite escape. And Cherki picks it up. Pass forward looking for Savinho, but it's just off target. Now Bulahi can go back as far as Bono. Back to Al Bulahi. First touch now for Al Juar. Inside for Ruben Neves. Will we have a winner, or will we go all the way to a penalty shootout? Koulibaly wants a pass forward. All the angles seem to be cut out, but he's picked one out to Al-Yami, who's been really impressive since coming on. Drives forward into the City half, held up by Foden, lays it off to Leonardo, back to Milinkovic-Savic. It's a brilliant switch of play to find Renan Lodi. Neves at the corner of the box, he finds him. It's a heavy first touch from Ruben Neves though, and City can come away with it. Akanji's clearance is closed down by Cesar. And he's just won a free kick off the young Brazilian. But there was a chance there, lovely switch of play from Milinkovic-Savic out to Renan Lodi, whose pass picked out Ruben Neves. Couldn't quite get the shot away. Ryan Cherki now carries it forward, but again there's an Al Hilal player down off the ball. City players furious. Marcus Leonardo on the deck once more as Simone Inzaghi looks on. Ederson helping his fellow Brazilian, what appears to be cramped, but referee has stopped the play. Leonardo, man who pulled Al Hilal back, which is 45 seconds into the second half. So you see that chance, it's a good ball from Lodi. Neves just couldn't quite get his first touch right. It's going to be another change, it appears, for Al Hilal. Marcus Leonardo might run his race. He's back on his feet though. We will restart play. Cherki into the right hand side for Akanji. Back to Ryan Cherki and Ruben Diaz. City searching for that winner. Doku. Infield to Cherki. Can he pick out a pass? He's just crowded out. Neves wins it back, and now counter could be on for Al Hilal. Out to this right hand side. Cesar heading for the corner. Cesar gets the right side of Ait Nuri. Can he pick a pass? It's a good challenge from Cherki, who recovers his own mistake just at the edge of his own box to win it back. Really impressive play. Foden now. Out to Jeremy Doku. Taking on Al-Yami. Slips it in behind. Silva can't quite reach it. Bono come out to claim. Really good idea from Jeremy Doku. And I do wonder if there weren't 110 or so minutes on the clock, would Bernardo Silva have reached that one? But a lot to ask at this stage. The now 30-year-old Bernardo Silva. He put City ahead after 9 minutes of the game, the only time they've led in this game. And now Al Hilal come forward. Lovely pick out from Milinkovic-Savic to Al-Yami. Cesar has space on this right-hand side, wants to return past Al-Yami. It's too far ahead of them. Ake clears with the help of Ait Nuri down to Doku. Tries to spin around Koulibaly, but the Senegal defender does well, and Doku just collides with a camera off the side of the pitch. His momentum carried him over. After Koulibaly just leant into him slightly. He appears to be okay. Straight into one of those big cameras at the side of the pitch. But we'll restart with an Al Hilal throw-in. Right next to their bench. Al-Yami down the line for Milinkovic-Savic. Flicked on, he's found Neves. Switched out, Lodi in space once more over the left-hand side. Cross into the box. Milinkovic-Savic, it's a brilliant save, but it's in the back of the net. Al Hilal go 4-3 up. Unbelievable, it's Marcus Leonardo with his second of the game. 4-3. Brilliant switch of play from Neves out to Renan Lodi. A lovely whip ball into the back post. Milinkovic-Savic with the header. It's a good save from Ederson, but Leonardo is free inside the 6-yard box to poke home into the empty net. Takes his shirt off into the corner flag. He's going to get a yellow card, but he won't care. He has put Al Hilal 4-3 up. And the Saudi side lead once more. Another really well worked goal. City can't believe it. They go behind for a third time this evening. Marcus Leonardo, as we see it again, brilliant pick out by Milinkovic, by Neves, to Lodi, into Milinkovic-Savic. Suspicion of an offside. He looks like he's on to the back post. It's a good save from Ederson, but he pushes it back into the path of Leonardo, who takes the touch and then stumbles and just about pokes it into the net. He's free inside the 6-yard area. And Marcus Leonardo, as Ederson palms it out, just touches him in the chest, and then he puts it home with his right foot. But City behind again, and now they have 6 minutes to find another equalizer and bring it back to 4-4 as Doku slips around Cesar. He's brought down, and it will be a free kick for Manchester City in a really promising position. There's no end to the drama here in Orlando. What a game we've had this evening. Still not over. Phil Foden over this free kick on the left-hand side, about 30 yards from goal. Al Hilal holding their line at the penalty spot. Foden delivers with his left foot into the box, headed away by Al Hilal. Ait Nuri picks it up, deepest man for Manchester City. Goes all the way back to Ederson. 5 minutes remaining. There may be a bit of added time due to that Marcus Leonardo celebration. Out to the left-hand side. It's an under-hit pass by Diaz. And Leonardo hits the deck once more. We'll have another stoppage in play, and I won't be surprised if he is taken off in the next few moments. He's down on the field yet again. After putting his side 4-3 up. We mentioned before he's had a fairly frustrating last 40 minutes or so. Hasn't really been involved, but he's involved now. He's put his team ahead again after initially drawing them level at the beginning of the second half. And Marcus Leonardo is being taken off. And it looks like he is being replaced by Khalid Al-Ghanam for the final 5 or so minutes. Loose touch there from Phil Foden, and Al Hilal have won it back. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who's been really good himself, plays it forward, looking for Al-Ghanam. But Ake there to clean up. And City come forward. Ryan Cherki into the Al Hilal half. He's been so good since coming on at the start of extra time. Here's Foden. Doku taking on Al Yami. Goes on his outside. Can he get across? In he can. Koulibaly in the way though. Cesar now for Al Hilal. Back to Milinkovic-Savic. Cesar again. Tries to win himself a free kick off Cherki, and he does. Oh, he doesn't. Referee says play on. City win it back. Doku infield to Marmouche. Spins around. Big challenge from Al Ghanam. And Al Hilal have won it back, and it's 4-on-3 for Al Hilal. They could maybe wrap it up. Renan Lodi on the left side. Crosses to the back post. Neves over the bar. Unbelievable defending from Nathan Ake. Somehow prevents that from going in. Brilliantly worked. Al-Jawar to Renan Lodi all the way to the back post. Neves put it across. Ake slides in and deflects it over the bar. Unbelievable defending from the Dutchman. That would have been that. It is a corner for Al Hilal. They'll swing it into the box towards Milinkovic-Savic, headed away by Aït-Nouri. Picked up again by Lodi. Milinkovic-Savic in the left-hand channel, tried to flick it towards Lodi. Pass goes astray, and now Al Hilal could be stretched here as City carry forward. Big challenge there from Al Bouyahi on Cherki. Somehow it's not a foul. Referee waves play on. Milinkovic-Savic now controls it. Looks to send Al Ghanam away. Diaz will pick it up. 2 minutes left for City to find an equaliser, or else they'll be heading home from this Club World Cup. Foden out to Doku. Trying to get around Cesar, he does so. Jeremy Doku can't quite pick out a pass. Cesar heads away, only as far as Akanji. Diaz now picks it up, everyone within 30 yards of the Al Hilal goal. Savinho into Cherki again. Is there another bit of magic from him? Back to Diaz. Lifted in towards Marmouche. Koulibaly away, only as far as Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri at the edge of the box. Has a strike over the bar. Ryan Aït-Nouri on his weaker right foot. Can't find the target. And we're into the final minute here. So, more of a swipe than a real effort as Guardiola looks on and looks to the sky. His team is running out of time here to force penalty kicks. This will be an unbelievable shot. Manchester City, one of the favourites. Al Hilal, successful obviously in their own right. Saudi Arabia's most successful club. Have the most amount of Asian Champions League, but would not be expected to come through here this evening. Milinkovic-Savic wins another header in the air. Shifted on that time by Al-Jawar. Here's Renan Lodi down the left wing as he has been all evening long. Al Hilal just trying to hold on to possession. Back as far as Al Bouyahi. Yassine Bono now will just send it forward up towards Al Ghanam. Tries to hold off Diaz, and Al Ghanam has done brilliantly. He's won a free kick off the Manchester City defender. We will have 3 additional minutes at the end here. 3 minutes for City to find a potential equaliser. 3 minutes for Al Hilal to hang on. They play it into the corner. Milinkovic-Savic on his 100th appearance for the club. Al Hilal in possession. Al Biyami back to Bono. Koulibaly now doing well to keep it in possession. Koulibaly now sends it long towards Milinkovic-Savic. Lovely chested control in the centre circle. They've numbers on the left if they can pick it out. Now it's shifted towards Lodi. Suspicion of an offside. Renan Lodi has space here. He's inside the City box. Lodi, strike, saved by Ederson. And now Al Hilal have had numbers forward. They're a bit stretched. City bring it forward with Cherki. 2 minutes remaining. Savinho on his outside. Cherki tries to feed it into Marmouche. Well cut out by Lejami. Al-Ghanam holds it up, but he's dispossessed. Cherki again. Again, Lejami hacks clear. This time for a throw-in. Brilliant defending from Al Hilal as the camera cuts to the crowd who are praying for their side to hang on. 90 seconds remain. Ait-Nouri. City, no real pace or intensity. Players out on their feet for both teams. Ruben Diaz. What about a pass to Doku? He'll just lift it into the box. Lejami, a big header away again. And now they've picked it up. Al-Ghanam and Cesar is free on this right-hand side. Al Hilal carrying it forward. They have another break on. Chau Cesar, can he pick a pass? He can't. Diaz blocks it. That could have been a great opportunity. City will get another chance. We're into the final minute of the 3 added on at the end of the 120. Here's Ryan Cherki out to the left-hand side. Jeremy Doku, Ake and Akanji forward. Doku shifts it onto his right foot, has a strike, it's over the bar. Via deflection so close from Jeremy Doku, just a drop of the shoulder in onto his right foot. And it's Milinkovic-Savic who puts his foot on it, and then Lejami heads it over the bar. So we will have a corner here. Last chance saloon from Manchester City. Ederson is up from his goal. Everyone inside the Al Hilal box. Bernardo Silva whips in. It's a poor delivery towards the near post. Headed away by Al-Jawar, but they get another chance. Ait-Nouri. Ederson goes back to his goal. Silva again. Lodi out to meet him. Ball hooked in by Savinho. Bono comes for it, claims it, and that could be that. Inzaghi celebrates on the sideline. We've played the 3 additional minutes, and that is the full-time whistle. What a game. Al Hilal knock out Manchester City after extra time. Marcus Leonardo's goal in the second half of extra time. The difference, Inzaghi on his 3rd attempt beats Pep Guardiola. Al Hilal through to the quarter-finals of the Club World Cup, where they will face Fluminense. Pep Guardiola and City sent packing. An unbelievable game of football in Orlando. 4-3 after extra time. 3 of those goals coming after the 90 minutes. Foden thought he'd equalise for City at the end of the first half of extra time, but Marcus Leonardo, poking home from close range, proves to be the winner. An unbelievable game of football in this round of 16 clash. Full time after extra time. Manchester City 3, Al Hilal 4. Thanks so much for listening in. We'll talk to you next time.
I'm glad I'm allowed to to be part of it. You're listening to the documentary In the Studio from the BBC World Service, as we follow the making of Sentimental Value, the latest film from director Joachim Trier and his team. An important member of that team is the editor Olivier Bouga-Coutet, who Joachim has known almost as long as he's known Eskil. And he's known Eskil for a few decades.
Olivier and Eskil, they are at opposite sides of the fence when we get to the edit. Olivier is fighting for the best of what I was able to do on set, whereas Eskil is fighting to sustain the intentions. And I can tell you, in the early films, I jokingly said to them, I feel like I'm a child in a family that's about to divorce. So sometimes Olivier has to say, no, but You guys, now you're talking script again. You know, like this is not what we're doing. Just give me 2 weeks of cutting and you'll see that we're about to give birth to a bigger idea. Like, come on, don't cling to it. And we all have a sense of humor about it, but it gets emotional, you know, it does.
Who knew that there was this long-standing, undeclared war between screenwriter and editor? But it does make sense. As for Joachim, when he finished the edit, something quite odd happened.
People that work in movies talk about kind of a work addiction thing. You know, of course, we're beyond that. We work such crazy hours and you can't really get ill. And if you feel a cold coming on, you know, you take a paracetamol and go to work. Every day costs ridiculous amounts of money. You can't be ill, really. And then when we've gone through the film for the last time, there's always this moment when Olivia turns to me and he says, "So, are we done?" And it's my job to say, "Yes, we're done." And then tears comes to our eyes every time because it's such pressure and it's such a release. And we sat together, we had a glass of champagne, and I went home and I immediately fell ill and I was out for a week. And I guess it's the body accepting that you let the film go or something. It's a very physical thing. It sounds cheesy, I know, but that's what happened.
On the day of my visit, he was perfecting the colour palette in the film. This happens in another gloomy cave, the screening room. And sitting in the middle was Julien Allery, who was working on the colour grading. Now, I'd heard the term colour grading before, but I really never knew what it meant.
People think it's all about making it look beautiful, and it's not. It's about creating balance and neutrality. It's really hard, and getting skin tones correct. I like beauty in cinema, but I also care about how Renate Reinswe's skin changes color when she gets emotional. And if I remove the magenta, the red, too much, suddenly we lose her performance.
So you're emphasizing certain aspects in the frame?
Yeah, sustaining them from when we grabbed it, when we were there, trying to make sure we don't lose it. I like the effect of neutrality. I like to have a clear white in the frame somewhere, and then to balance everything from it.
And then they started projecting the film on the screen, but without the soundtrack, so they could focus purely on the image.
We're working on a sequence which is shot in the house, and it's got white walls, big windows with exterior light coming in. So the challenge here is to balance all the different light sources that bleed in. So there's a lot of bushes and foliage that reflects green light into the rooms. So to get clear white walls is almost impossible. But what we settle at, right, Jules, is to have certain white elements.
Of course, with these white walls, it's always a bit of a challenge because that's how we always worked. And then you hit the right balance, and Joachim goes like, yes!
They discovered the sentimental value had been selected for the Cannes Film Festival. It was announced officially 5 days later.
Joachim Trier is Norwegian. Last time he came, it was with the 12th chapter that won the prize, and this is called Sentimental Value.
And just to be clear, the film is called Sentimental Value, not Sentimental Valium, as you just heard. A few days before that announcement, I was sworn to secrecy, recording the following interviews on the understanding that I would not breathe a word to anybody about what had been said. Okay, I understand you've had some good news.
Yeah, we were told the day before yesterday that we are invited to play at Cannes in main competition, which to me means a lot. It's my grandfather, Erik Löken, in 1960 had his first film, The Hunt, invited to play in Cannes, and he was a jazz musician. He was someone who had been in the resistance during the war and struggled a lot with that emotionally. And I think jazz and then later on films kind of helped him survive that, to find meaning in his life. And so for me to play at Cannes, it actually means something to me personally.
There is a downside to having a world premiere in Cannes, would you believe? This will be the first time that Joachim and Eskil will see their film with an audience.
It can be excruciating. It's terrible. You are just waiting for those moments that you know can produce an audible reaction. you know, like a gasp or a laugh or whatever. And if that comes, you're so relieved. And if not, you're just sitting there and it's terrible, you know. Yeah, it can be the worst thing. If you're making like a sort of serious film, you can't hear what people are feeling.
And it will also be the first time that the film is reviewed. And sometimes those reviews can be quite negative, as Joachim discovered in 2015 with his English language film, Louder Than Bombs.
The danger of Cannes, which is why some filmmakers also maybe is hesitant to go there sometimes, can be that there is this climate of strong opinions. There's no time a lot of the time for critics to watch all those films and to say, well, you know, this is a complex film. It's got qualities and it's got some problems. You know, it's very often, what is the opinion? And you got to write it fast. And is it great or is it terrible? So I felt with Louder Than Bombs that it came out of Cannes with a kind of a negative. It's probably still the film I've made that when I talk to people, least people have seen. At the same time, I'm very proud of it. I felt that we achieved something, but there was kind of a climate around it which was quite mixed.
Joachim is clearly scarred by these reviews, I think, even though all his other films have been really well received, particularly The Worst Person in the World, which according to one critic blew the audience away at its premiere in Cannes. Despite this, neither Joachim nor Eskil can bring themselves to look at the reviews.
I can't let that whole intense accumulation of meaning hit me at once. It's devastating. I can't handle it.
I don't learn anything from, I'm already too self-critical, self-analytical. I don't need critics to get into my head, and they're not gonna teach me anything.
I want to believe that other people are smart and I'm probably don't know and I could learn, but I can't take it in the measures that is presented. It's too much. I'm sorry. I need to get up in the morning and feel that I can make another one.
He should decide for himself what he wants to do, but I think as producers it's our job to do read the reviews, and we could filter out or tell him whatever he wants to know, but I think we need to know what's coming.
This is producer Andrea Berenson-Ottmar, who saw the final cut while she was on maternity leave. So, what did she think of the film?
I think for me it's just very emotional to see it come together. But this time I was alone in my living room, so I didn't have like Joachim or Maria and the team to debrief directly afterwards, which was a bit strange. The world becomes so small when I have a newborn. It's really a bubble, so it's a bit hard, and I felt very foggy in trying to giving feedback. This time I really felt like I don't think I have that much more wise things to say.
I've seen the film like 50 times by now probably, so yeah. Because I've been very involved, with the screenings and the feedback during editing, and then also on the visual effects side and the subtitle side.
This is assistant director Lars Thomas Skala, and he's taken on the producer role while Andrea is on leave. It's now up to him to sort out the logistics for the screening of Sentimental Value at Cannes. And it involves more than just showing a movie, much more.
It's kind of like finished yet, and then it's of course just mounting that whole machinery that Cannes is, of coordinating, press and red carpet ceremonies and parties and who sits where in the cinema, etc. And everyone wants a piece of the film, and Joachim, and everyone wants to be on the front row. It's like that battle of who gets the important spot and who gets invited to what parties and which press do we invite. So that's a different sort of stage that we're entering now, I guess. Yeah.
To the reviews, but just as euphoric. Sentimental Value was hailed as the best film in Cannes, the best film you might see this year, and described as gorgeous and gripping and ecstatically moving. And then the film took home one of the top prizes at the festival. Jeremy Strong, I see this on the room. Jeremy Strong, who just is going to be
The film has the right title. It has kind of a sentimental value for me. I was there when Joachim told me about the very, very, very first idea about Two Sisters. Going from that little idea to the big, big, big machine that it was, and with all the headache it certainly was. It's a very mature film and kind of melancholic in some ways. So that's also the emotions that hit me when I think about the whole project.
It's about family, it's about familial trauma, and also the positive force that a creative endeavor can mean to people. And I think for everyone who works in film, that kind of really resonates.
Having had 2 children since my last film, and here I am making a film by a film director that has 2 grown daughters. And I think it's symbolic that I'm making a film where I try to understand all the parents and the children and the family. And I said to everyone, like, I will go home a little bit early sometimes because I want to be with the kids, and I haven't had that situation before, but actually it's turned out okay. So I think the anxiety I've had when I was younger of can I have kids and work this much, it's been okay.
We're living the life we were dreaming of, Joachim and I, when we met and we were teenagers and had this naive idea of becoming part of filmmaking and maybe once going to a big festival, you know, and now we're doing what we set out to do.
Service with the director Joachim Trier and his team in this.
To the world's problems. Tourists hiking with street dogs in Mexico and fake pigeon eggs in Germany.
They swap them. Ooh, pigeons don't even notice most of the time.
We'll be meeting more people with brilliant ideas.
People fixing the world.
Where a new species of dinosaur, the Enigma cursor, is the excuse we've wanted for a dinosaur-themed show. Discuss mass extinctions that maybe weren't, the real reason why the T-Rex has tiny arms, and why all kids seem to love dinosaurs. This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station. Hello, and welcome to Newsday on the BBC World Service. It's James Cockrell and Perseverance with you.
Microsoft has released research which suggests that artificial intelligence may be 4 times better than human doctors at diagnosing medicine's most challenging cases. We hear from the head of Microsoft's AI unit.
I think today we're showing the first signs towards a true medical superintelligence. I mean, this isn't just on par with expert clinicians. It is a massive leap forward.
We get reactions from doctors on what this will mean for them.
A joint call has been made by some of the world's leading aid agencies and rights groups to shut down the US and Israeli-backed food distribution system in Gaza. We're heading to Gaza to hear from a pregnant woman there.
And a new study suggests millions could die because of American cuts to aid. Find out more after the latest world news.
A new study predicts that more than 14 million of the world's most vulnerable people could die in the next 5 years because of the dismantling of the main US aid agency. The study was published as USAID is formally closed as an independent agency 6 decades after it was set up. Grant Ferret reports.
The figures contained in the research published by the Lancet Medical Journal are staggering. Their scale reflects just how central USAID has become to the global humanitarian effort. According to the study, the agency averted more than 90 million deaths worldwide in the 2 decades up to 2021. Many were related to HIV prevention. About 80% of USAID's funding is being cut, and from Tuesday, it will be officially absorbed into the US State Department. Critics say the sudden, largely unplanned nature of the change is especially damaging.
Donald Trump's former advisor Elon Musk has stepped up his criticism of the US president's tax and spending bill as senators continue to vote on amendments through the night. Mr. Musk has condemned the bill as insane. Arunade Mukherjee reports.
Donald Trump's former advisor and largest donor, Elon Musk, strongly criticized the spending plan. He said he would start a new political party if it passed. Meanwhile, voting continues in the Senate, and the Republicans can afford a total of only 3 defections for the bill to pass. If these defections were to happen, then the Vice President, J.D. Vance, would have to cast a tie-breaking vote. Concerns over rising debt and estimates of millions of Americans being at risk of being stripped of health insurance has seen Democrats oppose the bill and left some Republicans skeptical as they vote.
Police in Turkey have arrested 3 employees of a leading satirical magazine for publishing a cartoon that appears to show the Prophet Muhammad. He seems to be depicted along with Moses shaking hands in the sky above a city being bombarded with missiles. The Liman magazine denied the picture represented Muhammad. Some of the world's biggest charities and aid agencies have issued a joint call for the Israeli and US-backed food distribution system in Gaza to be shut down immediately. Hundreds of Palestinians have been shot dead trying to access aid since Gaza Aid Foundation took over from the UN a month ago. Israel's permanent representative to the UN, Danny Danon, spoke to the Security Council to support the foundation.
The UN is putting politics over humanitarian work. Many in the UN are actively spreading disinformation promoted by Hamas-controlled sources, defaming the GHF's work and providing cover for further attacks. If you care about the people of Gaza, stop with this campaign of defamation and help them help the people of Gaza.
This is David Harper in London with the latest world news from the BBC. Thailand's main political dynasty, the Chinawat family, faces 2 major legal challenges on Tuesday. The former Prime Minister, Thaksin Chinawat, is due to appear in court on charges he defamed the country's king. His daughter, the Prime Minister, is under investigation by the Constitutional Court over allegations she breached ministerial standards. Here's Shaima Khalil.
If the Constitutional Court accepts the petition which was put forward by 36 senators, it may order the Prime Minister to suspend performing her duties pending a ruling, a move that is likely to intensify questions over Paetongtarn Shinawat's credibility. Ms. Paetongtarn had apologized over the leaked audio of a conversation with the former Cambodian leader Hun Sen, in which she called him uncle and dismissed a Thai military commander amid a festering border dispute between the 2 neighbors. The leak provoked public anger and prompted a key coalition partner to quit.
Investigators in the United States have arrested 1 man and carried out multiple searches linked to a North Korean-backed scam involving remote IT workers. The Department of Justice says North Koreans obtained remote IT jobs at more than 100 US companies. They're accused of using their access to steal money and information. $900,000 US was stolen from one California-based defense contractor. A court in Algeria is expected to rule later today on a prosecutor's request to double the jail term of an Algerian author who also has French citizenship. Boualem Soumsal, who's 80, was detained last November and sentenced to 5 years in prison for undermining Algeria's territorial integrity. There's been a sharp rise in the number of migrants crossing the Channel from France to Britain in small boats. Home Office figures will show there were nearly 20,000 such arrivals in the first half of the year. That's an increase of more than 40% compared with the same period in 2024. In recent years, the issue has become a source of intense political debate. Successive governments have promised tough measures to halt irregular migration. BBC News.
Thank you for that news. Hello and welcome to Newsday on the BBC World Service with Luquessa Burek and James Cotnell. In the programme today, we'll hear a startling claim about artificial intelligence and how it can keep us more healthy. We'll go to Gaza too, where a pregnant woman explains her struggles as Israel's war against Hamas continues. And the US Senate begins voting on President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. You can tell us your thoughts on anything you hear on Newsday on our usual number, +44 77 86 20 50 85.
Start off in the world of AI and health. We've heard plenty of big claims in recent years about how artificial intelligence will change our world. This is particularly significant because new research from Microsoft is suggesting that AI has made a big step forward in diagnosing medical conditions, particularly complex medical conditions. Now, looking at real cases that were published in the New England Journal of Medicine, Microsoft says that the AI systems correctly diagnosed 85% of complex cases at a rate which is 4 times better than a group of experienced human doctors. Now, it's been called the path to medical superintelligence. And for more, Newsday's Rob Young has been speaking to the head of Microsoft's AI unit, Mustafa Suleiman.
Well, I mean, as we know, our health systems are completely overwhelmed with demand. And one of the biggest challenges is first trying to diagnose what condition a patient has. So the work that we've announced involves clinicians who have gone back through many, many case studies and try to actually understand what is the condition that a patient is suffering from. And we've used that as a benchmark to say, okay, what is expert human level performance on this really challenging diagnostic case study that the New England Journal of Medicine gave us. And then we've had our AI system run over the same data. And what we found is that the AI is 4 times more accurate at diagnosing conditions from a very lengthy and very detailed case history.
4 times more accurate.
So yes, we take 300 very long cases that often run to 5 to 7 pages of very detailed information that is often presented by a patient, including pathology tests and radiology scans. And on average, our expert physicians get about 20% accuracy in trying to predict, given what they've read about the patient, what is the condition that they have. And our AI gets 85% accuracy.
Is it right every time, the AI?
85% is pretty phenomenal, and 4 times more than your average expert physician is incredibly impressive. So, yeah.
So how could this be used then in the real healthcare setting of today?
Well, one of the most expensive parts of the process is just being able to figure out what exactly the patient has, and you have to go off and commission various tests. And so what the AI is very good at is trying to predict what the patient has and minimize the costs involved in prediction. So it actually does this using fewer unnecessary tests. And that obviously is huge for cost, it's huge for time, and obviously it's great for improving patient care.
So could you see a world in which we speak to this system or a system like it on an app which would order tests rather than somebody having to go in to see their general practitioner, for example?
Yes, at Microsoft AI, we create an AI called Copilot, and it's a friendly, conversational, interactive, personal AI. And we get, between Microsoft Copilot and Bing, our search engine, we get 50 million health-related sessions per day. So there are people coming and asking about everything from, falling over and scratching your knee through to much more complicated cases around cancer or mental health problems. And so the motivation here is to try to enable Copilot to provide great diagnosis and eventually great treatment.
So are you suggesting you would offer this generally? You just put this out there for free online and people would use it? This wouldn't necessarily have to be something that a health system or a nation's health service would buy.
I think right now this is early research. It's pre-peer review, it's important to say. So it's a blog post that we're releasing. There's studies that have been done using the New England Journal of Medicine papers and case histories. So it's early research, but it's very, very promising.
Now, you say that this AI system got the diagnosis right in 85% of cases. On a national or global level, clearly 15% of inaccurate answers is an awful lot of people. What are you doing to get it to 100%, or is that just not possible?
I mean, the way to think about this is that some of these cases are extremely obscure, long-tail, very rare conditions. In fact, we ran the system on last week's edition of the New England Journal of Medicine, and it correctly diagnosed a case that has only ever been seen in the entire literature 1,500 times. So it's that rare and that obscure, and I think that is a seismic leg up for any clinician in practice to be able to have a tool like this at hand.
How many doctors will be concerned that they will be replaced by an AI system? Do you see this doing that?
Well, I think most doctors tell me that they go into practice to be able to really change lives and improve health outcomes for every patient. And that means spending more time being less tired, improving accuracy, quality, speed, and reducing cost. And this, just like any other digital tool, is going to accelerate that. That's what's so remarkable about this breakthrough. it increases accuracy 4x, reduces cost very significantly, and massively increases the speed of diagnosis. So it's a really significant breakthrough. And I think today we're showing the first signs towards a true medical superintelligence. I mean, this isn't just on par with expert clinicians. It is a massive leap forward. And that to me is a sign that these systems are just going to get better and better and really have a massive impact.
What about beyond the world of medicine? You're a leading figure in the world of artificial intelligence. You keep across all the developments, I'm sure. How is it developing? And are you surprised at the pace at which AI is developing?
In many ways, we've sort of been frustrated that the pace of AI development hasn't been faster, particularly between 2010 when we started DeepMind and 2020, just before the large language model revolution. And now it's here. I think it's an amazing time to build really incredible products like this one. AI systems that work for humans, that are on our side, that improve the quality of our life and well-being, that reduce costs. And that's really the true ambition and motivation, at least me and my team have, for how these AI systems show up in our world.
Now, you said in a speech last year, it was, that you've always cared deeply about technology's ethics. There's an awful lot of concern about what AI will do to society, particularly when it comes to the workforce, for example. There's a study out today which shows that in the UK, entry-level jobs have fallen by a third since the launch of ChatGPT. That's by a company that tracks job adverts. We are already seeing AI change how we live, aren't we? And not necessarily in a good way. Are you worried by some of the things that you see and hear?
You know, I think any technology is going to change how we relate to the world. It's an interface which reshapes our information, the information that we receive and the information we collect and put out in the world. And that format and structural change in our behavior is going to change when we turn up for work, where we work from, how our role is defined. Increasingly, we're each going to have access to highly capable expert systems in our pocket. So the cost of knowledge is going down to almost zero marginal cost. And then the cost of acting on that knowledge, like actually getting something done in practice, is also going to be incredibly cheap. And I think that's going to drive a productivity revolution, because there's no more barriers to entry. Like, that knowledge and capability is going to be available to everyone who wants to be creative and entrepreneurial.
There will be some people who will just lose out, though, won't there? For example, that fall in the number of entry-level jobs, that is people who aren't joining the workforce in their desired field.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be a big part of the transition. There's no question about that. And I think we have to be very clear-eyed about how we collectively manage the rate of transition. And I think this is the great challenge that we have, is like trying to both get all of the benefits from this technology and at the same time limit its downsides and be really, really sensitive to them.
The biggest downside, of course, is that it wipes us all out. Elon Musk said that there was a 20% chance that AI could wipe out humanity. Are you willing to put a percentage figure on it?
I don't think, I mean, I think it's a very odd way to think about it. I mean, that's very difficult to put a percentage on it like that, but you know, that's not what I see coming, certainly in the next few years. I mean, I can't rule anything out in 2050.
I was hoping you'd say zero.
Yes. Yeah, well, you know, I think that any good scientist and skeptic should be open-minded to all possibilities and thoroughly investigate them.
And that was Mustafa Suleyman there, speaking to Rob Young. And Mustafa is the head of Microsoft's Artificial Intelligence Unit. And there was a fascinating line in that interview. I don't know if you picked up on it. He said 50 million people per day are currently consulting Microsoft Bing and Copilot about health conditions.
Well, the group of people who will be most affected by this, aside, of course, from patients, is doctors. Luke Jones of our sister program OS spoke to two UK-based doctors, Ellie Cannon and Fari Ahmed, starting with Dr. Ellie Cannon.
Firstly, I should say that I actually use AI myself in practice, so I am sort of a great proponent of it. I think we have to be very sceptical about this type of sort of headline. I mean, first of all, this is a blog post. This is, you know, very much an advert for a Microsoft product. This has not been trialled in any way, shape or form like other types of evidence-based medicine. What are the cases they were plugging in to be checked? You know, it sounded like they were incredibly esoteric. So it's not necessarily the sort of thing that would be, you know, any diagnosis, any person in the world could put into AI and actually get accurate. So I think I'm quite skeptical in that sense. And I think one thing that's very, very important, especially for a worldwide audience, something that we always say about AI is, the data in is the data out. If the data that is fed to the AI that's used is only coming from select populations, certain populations, we're still going to end up with the same inequality that we already have in healthcare. If we're only looking at certain populations whose lives and symptoms happen to be in the AI at the moment, then they're not going to be diagnosed if they're slightly more atypical, which we've seen over the last few decades with women of colour, for example, who have different symptoms from other women. So I'm pretty sceptical, despite being somebody who's quite interested in AI.
Dr. Ahmed, how about you?
So I use AI a fair bit, and there is bits of it that are very exciting. I think initially when you first read this, you think, brilliant, 4 times better than my doctor. How excellent is that? But actually it's the detail, and that's where you need to understand it. So, I think they were quite clinically clean cases. It wasn't in real life. Sometimes when you're trying to get information from a patient, it can take much longer. There was no real discussion about how senior or how experienced the doctors were. And my understanding is they didn't have access to books or colleagues or anything. So not quite real life. I think there's lots of questions this brings up. Ideally, I think AI, I can see it in healthcare as like a co-pilot for each doctor, so you can then spend the consultation actually being more human with your patient and helping them get the right treatment and the things that they need. I think they're obviously keen to tell everybody this stuff is amazing, and it often is in very controlled situations. Real life has a lot more variables, and I think that's where it's harder to see if it would still do what we need it to do.
You've both said now that you use AI in your work. Well, I assume you've been in your work. What kind of thing, Dr. Cannon?
So I use an AI scribe for my clinical consultations, and so that means that, as we've just heard, I can be far more human in my consultations because the AI is listening to the consultation and scribing my notes. It's I would say it's around 80% accurate. I always say to my patients, AI is only as good as the human it's working with. I always have to correct the notes. I always have to add things. I always have to delete things, actually. It's very interesting. It hallucinates.
Dr. Ahmed, how about you?
Yes, so I use a scribe as well. But there's a couple of other things I've had to go with, and some of them are very exciting. One is like a tiny handheld device that uses AI to give me feedback. So within 2 minutes, I can do a reasonable echocardiogram of a patient, and within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I can get like a useful reading and ejection fraction. I'm not a cardiologist. I don't do echoes or ultrasounds, so you can see the potential it has to take AI to give me the right information so I can help treat my doctor there and then in the waiting room. So I think there are bits about it that are exciting and interesting. But it's always the detail. What is it doing? How is it helping you? How accurate is it? Is it actually replacing what you're going to do? What investigations you're going to do? So I think there is a space for it, but it needs to be thought about very sensibly.
Dr. Fari Ahmed there. You also heard from Dr. Ellie Cannon, and the BBC's Luke Jones was asking the questions.
You're listening to Newsday from the BBC World Service, and it's James and LaQuessa with you this morning. A quick reminder of our top stories and a study of the impact of deep cuts to the US overseas aid budget predicts that they could lead to an extra 40 million deaths worldwide in the next few years. We're actually going to be speaking to one of the lead authors of that research on the programme. But also, the US Senate is holding a marathon session of votes on Donald Trump's contentious tax and spending bill. We're also watching that story very closely.
Now, let's get to sports with Rebecca Adams.
Thank you, James. Well, we start with football, and defending champions Manchester City are out of the Club World Cup. They were beaten 4-3 by Al Hilal after extra time. The win means that the Saudi Pro League side are into the quarter-finals, where they'll play Fluminense, who beat Inter Milan 2-0. Wimbledon and two-time defending men's champion Carlos Alcaraz needed 5 sets to get through his first-round match against Fabio Fognini. It took the world number 2 over 4.5 hours to beat the 38-year-old Italian, who was playing in his last Wimbledon before he retires. Alcaraz will play British qualifier Oliver Tarvett in the next round. In the women's draw, world number 1 Arina Sabalenka beat Canadian Carson Branstein in straight sets. While last year's winner Barbara Krejcikova gets her title defence underway later today, she plays Alexandra Ayala of the Philippines, and we'll have more on that surprise win for Al Hilal in about half an hour.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's cross to the world of business now. President Donald Trump's spending bill, mega bill, which he dubbed the big beautiful bill, is currently facing a vote in the Senate. Just looking up at my screens here. In the Senate, on the floor, lots of senators milling around, talking. This has been going on for hours and hours and hours, days, I think it's fair to say. Now, the bill keeps deep tax cuts and adds spending on Mr. Trump's domestic policies. It's expected to add $3.3 trillion to the country's national debt, and if it passes the Senate, well, it then needs to go back to the House of Representatives for a final vote. So what a process, Maura Fogarty. I know you're watching this very closely. But, I mean, it really is a marathon. There's no sprinting here, is there?
It is, and I think some are calling it a vote-o-rama as well. It's in its 15th hour already since they started going through a series of votes to get to the final vote on the Senate version of the bill. Now, you were mentioning looking at some pictures of the Senate right now. You see a bunch of senators clustering around the Assistant Secretary of the Senate, which is an administrative role. One of them is the senator from Maine, Susan Collins, who's just introduced her amendment, one of many amendments that they are voting on. And they're essentially trying to get a series of votes on amendments done before they can reach this final vote. The majority leader of the Senate, who is a Republican, has said he hopes to get the final vote done by sunrise. And there is an internal kind of deadline set by President Trump that he wants all of this done by the 4th of July, which of course is the big National Independence Day in the United States.
Okay, well, we are watching things very closely. Maura, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Let's go to Gaza, where some of the world's biggest aid agencies and rights groups are calling for the controversial new Israeli and US-backed food distribution system to be shut down immediately. The United Nations says that more than 400 Palestinians have been killed while seeking aid from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Last week, the US State Department announced $30 million in funding for the GHF, its first known direct contribution to the group. On Monday, the Israeli military said it was examining reports of civilians being harmed while approaching aid distribution centers in Gaza run by the GHF. In general, the humanitarian situation in Gaza is dire. We got this voice note from a pregnant woman.
I'm originally from Jabalia, north of Gaza. I'm pregnant and I was displaced to Beit Lahia. In Beit Lahia, we suffered a lot. We faced explosions, immense fear, and hunger. The situation was extremely difficult. Then the Israeli army forced us out of Beit Lahia to western Gaza. And while fleeing, I suffered terribly as I had to walk the whole way because there were no cars. There, Israeli tanks were terrorizing us, firing at people and causing a lot of dust. I feared I might lose the baby. When the Israelis surrounded Beit Lahia, they ordered us to leave through the quadcopter drones. It was terrifying, so much fear and panic. The army detained my husband and I went through deep anguish. I was terrified something would happen to him. Also, in the case of food, we truly suffered there. I craved things that could nourish the baby, but all I had were beans and lentils. I wished I had juice, fruit, and fresh vegetables. You know how much a pregnant woman needs those things. I get dizzy so often because my body needed these things. Now I'm due to give birth very soon, God willing, but it'll be a cesarean operation because the doctors said they're worried about my condition. They said I did not get enough nutrition that a pregnant woman needs, especially during war. When I moved to Western Gaza, there was vegetables, but I couldn't afford them because the prices are just too high. I pray that God makes the birth easy and that the baby comes out healthy, not harmed by the malnutrition we suffered during this war. The hospitals have collapsed, and I'm afraid they won't give me full anesthesia during the C-section. I'm also afraid something might happen to the baby.
A voice note there we received from Gaza. We got a message in from Jane in Los Angeles, one of our listeners. How does the BBC's coverage of a band's outrageous Gaza war protest in Glastonbury get more attention than what Jane calls Israel's repeated violations of international law? We could have stopped the daily massacres of starving people simply queuing for food. Instead, many seem content to watch TV and the daily Trump show. Jane says, what a lost, mad world. Always welcome your messages, including perhaps on artificial intelligence, AI, one of our...
And that's the latest BBC News.
What difference the US
Survivors of the recent attacks in Sudan's western region of Darfur have spoken of the horrors they witnessed while fleeing fighting. More than 400 people are known to have been killed, and hundreds of thousands were forced to seek safety in recent weeks after the Zamzam camp, hosting displaced people, was overrun by the paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces. The war between the RSF and Sudan's army broke out in April 2023, triggering the world's largest humanitarian crisis. The conflict shows no sign of abating. A warning that some of the testimony you will hear includes disturbing